Chapter 561. What? Priceless treasure? Are you kidding me? Ying Fonglin screamed in disbelief. Jean Xuanxuan's expression changed. She pulled her aside and said, "Don't talk nonsense. He's Elder Shi." "Which Elder Shi?" Ying Fonglin froze. "The one from the Jade family. Shi Boi," Jean Xianxia reminded her. "Ah, it's him. But that's impossible. Last time when we were gossiping with Shui Luo and those female celebrities, they said that Ning Shi bought a string of jade worth less than 150,000 yuan from Baoyu Pavilion as a birthday gift for the old man. Did I hear it wrong? No, that's what they said last time. But Elder Shi couldn't have seen it wrong. That's weird." Hearing Shi Boi's words and Ying Fonglin's and Jean Xuanxuan's discussion, Ning Shui's expression changed slightly, but she was still calm. She knew that Ning Shi's string of jade beads was worth 150,000 yuan at most. She couldn't be wrong about that. Although Shi Boi was highly respected and had been in the jade business for his entire life, he might have made a mistake. In fact, there weren't many people who knew about jade. So when they saw Ning Shi's string of jade beads, it was Ning Shui's close friends who were talking about it. The others only agreed when they saw how confident they were. Now that elder Shi actually came out to speak and even said that it was a priceless treasure. The moment he opened his mouth, everyone was puzzled and didn't know who to listen to. Even Ning Ziyuan was a little suspicious. Although he was just a hobbyist and didn't know as much as Shi Boi, he still knew a little. Ning Shi's jade was good, but it couldn't be priceless. Ning Ziyuan was puzzled. "Elder Shi, what do you mean? What priceless treasure?" Shi Boi pondered for a moment and didn't dare to jump to a conclusion. He said hesitantly, "Ziyuan, can you let me take a closer look at your string of jade beads?" Ning Ziyuan had no choice but to give him the jade. Shi Boi looked at it carefully for a long time. Finally, he took out a magnifying glass and stared at one of the beads. The more he looked, the more excited he became. "What did you discover?" Ning Ziyuan asked anxiously. The other onlookers were also very curious at this moment. They whispered to each other as they watched. Most of them did not believe that this jade was a priceless treasure. They thought that Shi Boi must have made a mistake due to his old age. "Ning Shi, are you sure there's nothing wrong with the jade?" Ning Tianxin was still worried that Ning Shiluo would tamper with it. Ning Shi shrugged innocently. "I can only guarantee that there will be no problem after I buy it. It couldn't be that Baoyu Xian cheated her and gave her a jade with a problem, right?" The shop assistant who served her seemed to be a nice person. Could he have been bribed by Su Yimo? Ning Shi couldn't help but have some conspiracy theories. Finally, Shi Boi finished reading. After he was done, he suddenly took off a jade bead bracelet from his hand, brought it to Ning Ziyuan, and asked, "Ziyuan, what do you think of this bracelet?" As soon as Ning Ziyuan saw the bracelet, his eyes turned red. He said angrily, "You old man, that's enough. Isn't it just a jade bead that your grandson gave you? You've shown it off 800 times, and it's still not enough." Chapter 562. Hearing Ning Ziyuan's words, the old fellows around him all joined in and teased him. "Old Shi is not kind. He says it to everyone he meets. His grandson gave it to him. He asked Master Xianjing to bless it for several months. We've heard so much about his filial piety. He knows that old Ning admires Master Xianjing the most and has begged him many times, but he still shows off in front of him. Ha! Today is old Ning's birthday. Don't provoke him anymore. Is it that rare to see Master Xianjing's blessed Buddha beads?" Listening to the discussion of the old man, someone in the crowd who didn't know what was going on muttered suspiciously. When Shi Boi heard that, he immediately said solemnly, "Of course, Master Xianjing is a truly accomplished monk, and he doesn't consecrate people easily. It doesn't matter how much money you have to donate to the Bodhisattva Golden Body. You have to be sincere, and most importantly, you have to be fated. These beads that have been consecrated were hard to come by. It's a priceless treasure." Although Xianjing kept a low profile and not many people knew about him, the old and experienced people still knew about him. Hearing this, they were all in awe. It's indeed hard to find. It said that the person in the province went there personally, but didn't get one. Not to mention the sincerity, The most difficult thing is to find a fated person. It's illusory. Who knows what it means to be a fated person? It's too difficult, so it's even rarer. Otherwise, how could old she be so smug for so long? He's going to use it as a family heirloom. The most important thing is that it works. Old she was so sick before. And no, why did old she suddenly mention this? Wasn't he looking at old Ning's string of beads? In the whispers, Shi Boi stared at the string of beads that Ning Shi gave him for a long time before he finally returned it to Ning Ziyuan. Then he looked at Ning Shi meaningfully and said, "Little girl, you must have put in a lot of effort to bless this string of jade Buddha beads, right?" From what Shi Boi said, the string of beads that Ning Shi gave to old Master Ning was also blessed by Xianxia. How was this possible? Since it was so hard to find, how could Ning Shi, a wild girl from the countryside, get it? Ning Shi, after listening to so much, she didn't understand a single word. This old gentleman, was he sure he was praising her beads to the heavens? She said that she spent less than 150,000 to buy it from the Treasure Jade Pavilion, and she didn't even know who Great Master Xianxia was. Would he believe her? Ying Fonglin whispered to Ning Xiulaw with disdain, "It's just a bead consecrated by a monk. What's there to be surprised about? Priceless treasure?" Ning Xiulaw bit her lips and shook her head sadly. "Fonglin, don't say that. Grandpa admires Master Xianxia very much." This was also the reason why Ning Yaohua and Zhuang Lingyu firmly believed Long Faning's words back then, but the old master didn't take it to heart. The old man didn't really trust Long Fanning. Therefore, even if she was unwilling in her heart, she couldn't say it out loud because old Master Ning admired Master Xianxia very much. Otherwise, wouldn't she be slapping old Master Ning in the face? Ying Fonglin couldn't stand it anymore when she saw Ning Xiulaw trying to keep the peace. "Xiulaw, why are you so easy to bully? I'll help you get justice." Ying Fonglin wanted to stand up for her. A gleam of success flashed across Ning Xiulaw's eyes, and she made an even sadder expression. Ying Fonglin was the most brainless person and very easy to use. Chapter 563. For example, it wasn't appropriate for Zhuang Lingyu or Ning Yaohua to speak on this occasion. It was best for an outsider like Ying Fonglin to speak. As expected, Ying Fonglin immediately said, "Even if that master had blessed it, couldn't he have bought some good beads? It doesn't suit the old master status to wear such a cheap thing." At this moment, Shi Boi couldn't bear it anymore. He didn't want to argue with the younger generation, so he said directly, "Hee, little girl, isn't this string of beads good enough? If you must tell me the price, then I can tell you that this string is much more expensive than Shui Luo's." "What?" "Shui Luo's string cost 2 million. Ying Fonglin's eyes widened as she blurted out. Even Ning Xiulaw, Jin Xianxian, and the others were shocked, not to mention Zhuang Lingyu and Ning Yaohua. Their first reaction was that it was impossible. Where did she get so much money from? Shi Boi explained with certainty, "Shui Luo's string is also of the highest quality, the old pit glass type. What's even rarer is that all these beads were taken from the same stone, and the color is very even and complete. Naturally, it's more expensive than that string." Ying Fonglin frowned. "Elder Shi, are you seeing things?" Before Shi Boi's expression changed, Ning Ziyuan couldn't help but say unhappily, "Little girl, don't talk nonsense. How could Elder Shi be wrong? Shui Luo's is indeed more expensive." He didn't say it because he didn't want to embarrass Ning Xiulaw, who knew that these ignorant little girls would keep talking nonsense, so he had to explain. Even Elder Ning spoke up. This time, everyone had to believe it, no matter how much they didn't want to believe it. I really didn't expect this adopted daughter's gift to be more expensive than Miss Ning's. This is really a big blunder. It's really embarrassing. The same gift, but the adopted daughter's gift is better than hers in every way. Tis, looks like we've underestimated this country girl. It's been 5 years, and she's amazing. Actually, I wanted to ask just now, is this really the country girl from back then? If you didn't tell me, I almost didn't recognize her. She's quite beautiful now. Isn't that right? Back then, no matter how beautiful she was still timid and couldn't go on stage. Now, She has the aura of a rich young lady. Ning Xueluo's expression changed completely. Not only was Ning Shi's bracelet blessed by Master Xianjing, but it was also more expensive than hers. How is this possible? Didn't the female artist she chatted with last time see Ning Shi buy a string of Buddha beads worth more than 100,000 yuan with their own eyes? What exactly went wrong? Damn it, she had spent so much effort to set up this scene. But in the end, the one who was humiliated was actually herself. Whether it was her sincerity or her value, she had completely lost. She had even let Ning Shi steal the limelight. Shi Boi patted Ning Ziyuan and sighed. Hey Ziyuan, you're really lucky. No wonder you want to adopt this girl. She is indeed a good child with filial piety. Most importantly, to be able to receive Master Xianjing's blessing. What a blessing. By the way, Ziyuan, how old is your granddaughter? What is your zodiac sign? She should be around the same age as my grandson, right? Ning Ziyuan was fondly stroking the string of Buddha beads. When he heard this, he immediately revealed a vigilant expression. Old man, what are you trying to do? You even have designs on my granddaughter? Chapter 564. What adoption? She was his granddaughter. Old man, how can you call that a scheme? My grandson is handsome and filial. If it weren't for the fact that this little girl looks as good as my grandson, I wouldn't be willing to accept her. Humph, so you know what my granddaughter looks like. How can an ordinary boy be worthy of her? Show me your grandson's photo first. She had seen Shi Boi's grandson, but that was several years ago. Who knew if he had grown crooked or not? Fine. I'm afraid you'll scheme against my grandson if you see it. Ning Shi, why did the topic suddenly go in that direction? Were all the old people's brains so jumpy? Probably not. But when the old people gathered together, there was an 80% chance that they would end up talking about this topic. No, that wasn't the point. The point was, how could her jade Buddha bracelet, which was worth 150,000 yuan with a 20% discount, become a priceless treasure that Master Xianjing had blessed for more than 2 million yuan? Treasure Pavilion, the shop assistant who suddenly changed her attitude. She seemed to understand something. Could it be? What do you think, old Ning? Isn't he a good-looking man? Shiboi looked smug. Ning Ziyuan looked at the handsome and elegant man in the photo, and his eyes lit up, but he still didn't say anything. Photos can be photoshopped. I can't believe it. Shiboi was so angry that he simply said, Hey, you old man, since you don't believe it, I'll call him out next time and bring him to you. Okay, that's more like it. Just when Ning Shi was in a daze, she was inexplicably set up for a blind date. What's going on? Grandpa, calm down. Unfortunately, the two old people were already talking about the details of their meeting and couldn't hear her at all. Seeing Ning Shi's dumbfounded look, Ning Tianxin laughed. In fact, Mr. Shi's grandson is quite a good person. You can meet him. Ning Shi held her forehead and said, I'm not in the mood for that now. Hearing this, Ning Tianxin looked a little worried. Xiaoxi, are you still worried about Su Yin? Speak of the devil. At this moment, a servant ran in happily and reported, Master, our son-in-law is here. Everyone's gaze immediately turned towards the door. Son-in-law? Who is it? Who else could it be? Ning Xueluo is the only young lady of the Ning family. Naturally, it's the young master of the Su family, Su Yin. As he spoke, everyone saw a man dressed in a black suit walk straight in from the door. Behind the man was a person who looked like an assistant, holding a rectangular box in his hand. Seeing the person who came, Ying Fonglin pushed the person beside her excitedly. Xueluo, your husband is here. Hurry up and go. Don't talk nonsense, not yet. Ning Xueluo's heartbeat quickened when she saw the handsome and charming man in front of her. The unhappiness she felt because of the gift was immediately forgotten. Jin Xianxian also teased. You've already agreed to his proposal, aren't you? Ying Fonglin didn't even blink. Oh my God, your Su Yin is getting more and more handsome. Ning Xueluo's face flushed. She scolded them for a while and then walked gracefully towards Su Yin. Brother Yin, you're here. Chapter 565. In Su Yin gently held the girl's slender hand. The two of them looked at each other and smiled, their eyes filled with affection for each other. Then, they walked toward Ning Ziyuan together. The two of them, one in a black suit and the other in a white dress, were a perfect match and instantly became the focus of everyone's attention. Zhuang Lingyu and Ning Yaohua both revealed extremely gratified expressions. Elder Ning was naturally very satisfied with Su Yin, his grandson-in-law, and said with a kind expression, "Su Yin is here." Back then, because of Ning Shi's identity, the Su family didn't allow her to date Su Yin. Later, although she returned to the Ning family didn't disclose her identity, so Ning Shi and Su Yin had been dating secretly. When she was pregnant and couldn't hide it anymore, she told her family about her relationship with Su Yin. At that time, Su Yin had lost contact with her abroad. Zhuang Lingyu didn't easily believe Ning Shi's words. She ordered her to stay at home and not to go anywhere. Before Su Yin came back, no one was allowed to find out that she was pregnant before marriage. Therefore, even the old man didn't know that Ning Shi was pregnant with a child. At that time, Ning's international wasn't very stable, and Grandpa Ning didn't spend much time at home. He only knew that Ning Shi went abroad to study after a serious illness, and Su Yin, who often came to visit, began to date Ning Shuo. "Grandpa, happy birthday!" Su Yin took the rectangular gift box from his assistant and handed it over with both hands. The old man smiled and nodded. "Good boy." Su Yin gave the old man a painting by a famous calligrapher, which was priceless. Not to mention Ning Shi's jade bead bracelet. All the gifts in the hall were inferior to his. All the guests in the room were astonished when they saw this. The Su family is really generous. Even a random birthday gift is an antique. With the Su family's current power, they can easily find a lady with a better family background. Why did they choose Ning Shueluo? You probably don't know about this. It is said that Master Long personally calculated the 8 characters of the Ning family's eldest young lady. He said that she would bring prosperity to her husband and family. Many people came to propose marriage. Unfortunately, eldest young lady Ning had already been betrothed to the Su family. I know Master Long. I heard it's very powerful. Actually, I wanted to ask just now, who is this Master Xianxia that they have been talking about? I've never even heard of it, okay? Isn't Long Fanyin the most famous person in the circle now? Of course it's Long Fanyin. It's just that the old man still believes in those eminent monks from famous temples more. In fact, their thinking is too old-fashioned. The real experts are all among the common people. Seeing Su Yin, Ning Tianxin became nervous. She was meticulous and had discovered the relationship between Ning Shi and Su Yin years ago. She was worried that Ning Shi would be upset when she saw Su Yin. Just as she was about to comfort Ning Shi, Su Yin and Ning Shuo were already walking towards them. Su Yin looked at Ning Shi and smiled. "Xiaoxi, you're here too. Grandpa will be very happy." Ning Shi nodded slightly, her expression unreadable. "How have you been recently?" Su Yin asked with concern. "It's all right. Xiaoxi, when are you free? Let's get together." Su Yin was about to say something when Zhuang Lingyu hurriedly walked towards them. Seeing Ning Shi talking to Su Yin, Zhuang Lingyu urged, "Shueluo, Su Yin, I've been looking for you everywhere. Why are you here? Go and greet the guests." "Got it, Mom." "Sister, please excuse us." Ning Shuo glanced at Ning Shi out of the corner of her eye. Because of Zhuang Lingyu's protection, she showed a very proud look. Chapter 566. The banquet hall was bustling with noise and excitement. There were many guests, some of whom Ning Shi knew. Ning Shuo was chatting with Li Leilang, whom she had met at the audition in Luo City. Next to her was her mother, Guo Hui, the CEO of Lingtian Apparel. Ning Yaohua and Zhuang Lingyu were entertaining her warmly. As more and more guests came in, almost all of them chatted happily with Ning Shuo. The guests looked at Ning Shuo differently. This Miss Ning is so capable. She has such a wide network at such a young age. Alas, it's infuriating to compare with others. My good-for-nothing son always wants to be a star, but he doesn't even have a chance after spending so much money on it. He's not like her. He's doing business and running a company. Outside the door, a servant who was in charge of welcoming guests suddenly stumbled over. Eldest young master, eldest young mistress, outside, outside. Ning Yaohua pulled a long face. What's going on outside? Why are you so flustered? The servant's face was full of anxiety. No, master, there's an important guest outside. An important guest. Ning Yaohua was still displeased. What important guest? Why are you so flustered? With the Ning family's current status, they didn't have to be so nervous, even if it was an important guest. In the corner, Ning Shi looked at the servant, who looked as if she had seen a ghost. She was curious. What did Ning Xiaolua do this time? The helper explained incoherently, Just now, a car suddenly stopped at the entrance, but the people in the car didn't get out immediately. They just stayed there. I didn't pay much attention at first, but the car looked very expensive. I subconsciously looked at the license plate and realized that it seemed to be the Liu family's car. Ning Yaohua and Zhuang Lingyu's expressions changed. What? The Liu family? Which Liu family? The servant stuttered. Liu Group. Puffed. Ning, she spat out a mouthful of juice. What? Liu Enterprises? Could it be Liu Tingxiao? No way, no way. How could the devil come here? Well, Sister Xian, I'll go out and make a call. Ning, she was still worried. Finally, she went out and secretly called Liu Tingxiao. The phone only rang once before it was picked up. Then, the man's deep voice sounded, hello. The other end of the phone was very quiet, and he couldn't tell where the background was. Ning, she swallowed and asked, Hey, Liu Tingxiao, where are you now? Liu Tingxiao, the Ning family's front door. Ning, she was speechless. Cough, cough, cough. Damn it, it really is you. Why are you here? Liu Tingxiao said, Xiao Bao asked for you when you didn't come back. Hearing Xiao Bao, Ning Shi's heart immediately softened. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't expect to be delayed for so long, but I should be finished here soon. I'll go back as soon as possible. Liu Tingxiao. Okay, we'll wait for you. Ning Shi, what she meant was for him to take Xiao Bao back first. What if there was another delay and she couldn't get away so quickly? She was just thinking about how to persuade them not to wait for her when there was a sound from the other end of the phone. It seemed to be a different person. Then, she heard a dying voice. Sister-in-law, I've been waiting for you for so long that I'm going to freeze into an ice cube. When are you going to finish? Hurry up, okay. Chapter 567. Lu Jingli was here too? Ning, she was completely speechless. Why did 1, 2, and 3 of them all come here? While Ning, she was on the phone with Liu Tingxiao, Ning Yaohua, Zhuang Lingyu, and Ning Yaobang had already gone to the entrance to receive a guest. As the commotion was rather loud, some guests inevitably noticed it. They looked out and asked suspiciously, Who's here? What a big scene. Ning Yaohua even went out to receive them personally. Ning Yaobang also rushed out to receive them. I heard some people say they're from the Liu family. The Liu family? Hey, you must be joking. This was like saying that the emperor suddenly came to a local official's house for a meal. Wasn't this a fantasy? Of course, I don't think it's possible, but I heard the servants from the Ning family say that there's a car with the Liu family's number plate parked outside. Did you see wrongly? I don't think so. Although it's the Liu family's car, they didn't say that the heads of the family would come personally. It's impossible, no matter how prestigious they are. Maybe the Ning family really has some connections with the Liu family, and their higher-ups told their servants to come to the old master's birthday banquet to give him a gift. It's not impossible, right? Now that you mention it, it's indeed possible. If they have connections with the Liu family, the Ning family is really something. What the hell? What kind of luck has the Ning family had these years? Could it be that Master Long's divination for Miss Ning was real? At the entrance of the Ning family. Where is she? Ning Yaohua asked the greeter anxiously. In the car. The greeter wiped his sweat and replied with a trembling voice. Why hasn't she alighted? I don't know either. There hasn't been any movement since the car stopped. Ning Yaohua thought for a moment and said, Forget it. It's inevitable that the people sent by the Liu family are a little arrogant. I'll go invite her personally. Second bro, you better watch out later. Don't talk nonsense. Ning Yaobang was immediately displeased. What do you mean by that? Can't I even speak? Look at the situation now. I'm not in the mood to quarrel with you. You'd better behave yourself. Otherwise, if you offend an esteemed guest, you and I won't have a good time. Ning Yaohua coldly berated. Ning Yaobang also knew that this matter was of great importance. With an embarrassed expression, he said, I know. I won't say anything, okay? So, Ning Yaohua, Zhuang Lingyu, Ning Yaobang, and a few servants walked straight to the black Maybach with their backs straight. The back window of the car was open a crack, so they could definitely hear the people outside. Ning Yaohua warmly said, Honored guests have come to visit. This Ning has not gone out to greet you. I hope you can forgive me. 1 second passed, 2 seconds passed, 3 seconds passed. Ning Yaohua's face was almost stiff from smiling, but there was not the slightest movement inside. Could it be that he did not hear it? Ning Yaohua coughed lightly and continued. You must be tired from the long journey. Would you like to come in and have a drink? There was still no sound. Ning Yaohua's face darkened. He lowered his voice and asked a servant behind him, Are you sure there's someone in the car? Of course there is. No one has gotten out of the car since it arrived. The person must be inside. The servant replied with certainty. Ning Yaohua's face was unusually grave when he heard that. What was going on? Why didn't the person come out? He had even come to greet them personally. Was there anything that he did wrong? Chapter 568. Zhuang Lingyu seemed to have thought of something and pulled Ning Yaohua over. Yaohua, come here. What's wrong? Say, do you think the Lu family, are they here for our Shui Luo? Zhuang Lingyu probed. Shui Luo? Yeah. Aren't many guests here for Shui Luo? Some of them are even Shui Luo's fans. Shui Luo's studio has been developing so well. So, Ning Yaohua's face lit up. You're right. But why didn't Shui Luo tell me about it? We'll know when we ask her later. I'll call Shui Luo over now. All right. Go. Ning Yaohua urged. The few of them retreated to the door. Soon, Ning Shuiluo came out. Dad, Mom, what's wrong? Why did you call me out in such a hurry? Ning Yaohua looked at her seriously. Shui Luo, tell me honestly. Do you know anyone from the Lu group? Ning Shuiluo pondered. Lu group? Yes. Ning Yaohua looked nervous. I don't think so. Ning Shuiluo replied without hesitation. She wanted to, but no matter how capable she was, it was impossible for her to be related to the Lu group. Ning Yaohua looked fearfully in the direction of the car and said in a low voice, Shui Luo, think about it carefully. Right now, the Lu family's car is parked outside our house. What? Ning Shui Luo was startled when she heard that. She looked at the car and tried to recall what had happened. Have you thought about it, Shui Luo? Have you met anyone from the Lu group recently? Zhuang Lingyu reminded her anxiously. After a while, Ning Shuiluo's eyes finally lit up. She hurriedly said, Mom, now that you mention it, I seem to recall that I met Lu Tingxiao's assistant, Cheng Feng, at a cocktail party a few days ago. He asked me about history. Zhuang Lingyu was overjoyed. Aya, you kid, why didn't you tell us about such a big thing earlier? Ning Shuo said shyly. At that time, he just casually asked a few questions and didn't say anything else. How? How am I supposed to explain this? Ning Yaohua was surprised and happy at the same time. Shui Luo, you are still too naive. Their special assistant came to you personally to inquire about the news. Obviously, the higher-ups are interested in your studio. It is very likely that they want to cooperate with you. No wonder the old master would send someone over for his birthday banquet. Let's go. Follow me to welcome our esteemed guests. The more Ning Shui Luo listened, the more she felt that it was possible. She immediately felt a surge of emotions and suppressed her rapid heartbeat. Yes, father. Thus, the family of three walked to the car again. Because the window wasn't wide open, they couldn't see the situation inside clearly. They could only vaguely see that there was indeed someone sitting inside. Ning Shuo took a deep breath and said, Are you Mr. Cheng? I didn't know you were coming, and I didn't treat you well. I'm really sorry. Thank you for making this trip. Ning Shuo continued to say nice words. However, it was as if there was no one in the car. It was quiet. The three of them looked at each other. What did this mean? Did they use his house as a parking lot? Did they come all the way here just to park their car? Or was it because the scenery here was good? These people's minds were too strange. Chapter 569. On the other hand, Ningxi went to say goodbye to Grandpa Shun after finishing her cake because Lu Tingxiao and Little Bun had arrived. Grandpa, it's getting late. I'm leaving. This time, Grandpa Ning had no excuse to keep her. He held her hand reluctantly. Remember to come back often. Of course. Ningxi nodded. You only know how to coax me. I don't know when you'll come back next time. Go ahead. It's getting late. I'll get a driver to send you. It's okay, Grandpa. I have a friend who's coming to pick me up. All right. Be careful on the way. Okay. Bye, Grandpa. After saying goodbye to Grandpa and Ning Tianxin, Ningxi ran out of the door. Oh, it's time to rub the buns, of course. The buns, however, she bumped into Ning Yaohua, Zhuang Lingyu, and Ning Shuo at the door. When Ning Shuo saw her, she immediately greeted her with concern. Sister, are you leaving? Yes. Ningxi replied impatiently. Little Bun was right in front of her, but she was blocked by others. How could she be happy? Sister, you can't get a taxi here at night. Why don't you wait for a while? When the banquet is over, I'll ask Brother Yin to send you. Ning Shuo said that because she knew that even if she said that, someone would not allow it. Sure enough, Zhuang Lingyu tugged at Ning Shuo and said in a low voice, Shuo, you silly girl. Why are you so careless? Mom, it's too late now. I can't get a taxi here. It's too dangerous for me to go alone. Zhuang Lingyu signaled Ning Shuo to stop talking. Then she walked up to Ning Shi and stared at her unkindly. She questioned her without saying a word. Ning Shi, what do you want? At this moment, Ning Shi was not in a hurry to leave. She crossed her arms, twitched the corner of her mouth, and asked unhurriedly, What does Madame Ning think I want to do? Zhuang Lingyu snorted. She looked as if she had seen through her. You just want the family fortune and money, don't you? I thought you had a backbone. It's not that you don't want to enter. You're just too ambitious to enter the head office. Ningxi raised an eyebrow. I want to enter the head office? Don't tell me you didn't think about it. Why are you trying so hard to please your grandpa? You don't want to learn the good stuff, but you learn all sorts of unorthodox things. You want to come back now that you know it's not easy outside? Let me tell you. At this moment, the door of the Maybach not far away suddenly opened slowly. Zhuang Lingyu, who was still reprimanding Ningxi, noticed that the car door was opened and immediately forgot about Ningxi. She even pushed Ningxi to the back and pulled Ning Shuo forward, saying, It seems that Assistant Cheng got off the car. Shuo, hurry up. Ning Yaohua's face was also filled with excitement. What made him even more excited was that the person who alighted from the car wasn't Cheng Feng. It was actually the Lu family's second young master, Lu Jingli. Unlike the elusive Lu Tingxiao, Lu Jingli was usually very high profile. His face was too famous, so there was no way he would mistake him for someone else. Second young master, Lu came in person. It was such an honor. He thought of how envious the guests would be when they saw Lu Jingli. He thought of his father's shock and Ning Yaobang's frustration. He was so excited that his heart was trembling. Chapter 570. Ning Shuo was completely dumbfounded. She thought that even if someone from the Lu group came, it would at most be an assistant. If it weren't for the fact that this car was Lu Tingxiao's car, she wouldn't have dared to think that it was even Lu Tingxiao's assistant. After all, Cheng Feng was one of Lu Tingxiao's most trusted confidants. His status in the Lu group was very high. He wouldn't come out personally for ordinary things. He would just send one of his subordinates to run errands. So, she never thought that it would be Lu Tingxiao's biological brother, Lu Jingli, who came to visit. Seeing the admiration in Ning Yaohua and Zhuang Lingyu's eyes when they looked at her, Ning Shuo's chest expanded. Her vanity was unprecedentedly satisfied. She excitedly walked toward Lu Jingli. Second young master, Ning Yaohua finally calmed himself down with great difficulty. He put on the air of a chairman of a company and walked steadily toward Lu Jingli. Second young master, Lu, has come from afar. Please forgive me for not going out to meet you, Ning Yaohua was halfway through his sentence, his hand still suspended in midair. Lu Jingli, who was dressed in a flashy blue suit, ignored the three of them and walked past them. His handsome face was filled with tears. Sister-in-law, as soon as he said a word, Ningxi's expression changed. Her eyes were like small flying knives, shooting 3 knives at him. Lu Jingli was so scared that he almost blurted out, "Sister-in-law." Lu Jingli shrank his neck and looked even more aggrieved. He said weakly, "Little Cece, you're finally out. I've been waiting for you. I'm so hungry. Hurry up and get in the car. You've made the boss wait for so long. Do you want to quit your job?" Lu Jingli hurriedly switched to boss mode, although this switch was really not dignified at all. Ningxi heaved a sigh of relief. This blabbermouth bastard, she almost had a heart attack because of him. How could he shout without caring about the occasion? Unfortunately, this idiot was her superior. She couldn't hit or scold him, so she had to suppress her anger in her heart. Lu Jingli didn't care at all. He greeted her with a smile. Are you flattered that the boss came to pick you up personally? It's fine, it's fine. Anyway, it's on the way. Get in the car. Hurry, hurry, hurry." While speaking, Lu Jingli seemed to have felt 2 sharp eyes behind him whipping his soul and urging him. So he quickly finished speaking, and then like a robber, he directly pulled Ningxi into the car and slammed the door shut in one go. Very good. Done. The mission was finally complete. He had finally stuffed the demon-suppressing treasure that was used to suppress the Demon Kings and Big Demon Kings. Lu Jingli didn't care how dumbfounded the 3 people behind him were. He adjusted his collar, opened the driver's door, stepped on the gas, and the black car suddenly sped away. Behind them, Ning Yaohua, Zhuang Lingyu, and Ning Shuiluo's faces were still filled with excitement. They stared at the direction in which the car left, their faces filled with disbelief. They took turns to invite the person who refused to come. The second son of Lu Corporation, Lu Jingli, personally came to visit. She actually came to pick up Ningxi? How could this be possible? Moreover, although Lu Jingli's words seemed to be reproaching her, his tone was clearly very familiar, like a joke between friends. It could be seen that the two had a very good relationship. Zhuang Lingyu's face was the ugliest. She was just scolding Ningxi, saying that she was trying to take advantage of the company because she was not doing well. In the end, she actually found herself with such a person. Chapter 571. Ning Yaohua's shock was no less than his wife's. He felt even more remorseful and covetous. He had tried so hard, but failed to establish any connection with the Lu family. Who knew that this good-for-nothing daughter of his was friends with Lu Jingli? Damn it, what a mistake. How could he forget? Ningxi had signed with Xianxia Entertainment, and it was said that Lu Jingli had poached her personally. But he had always thought that it was just a business game, and Ningxi was just a pawn. How could he have known that they were friends? Shuiluo, is Ningxi close to second young Master Lu? Ning Yaohua asked. Ning Shuiluo's nails dug into her palms as she stared in the direction of Ningxi's departure. She didn't react until Ning Yaohua asked her. I'm not sure, Dad. You know second young Master Lu's personality. He's not as unapproachable as Lu Tingxiao, and he always gets along well with the employees in his company. He poached Ningxi personally, and she helped him defeat Xinghui. She's a hero, so it's understandable that they are friends. Ning Yaohua nodded. I see. Sigh, if I can get in touch with Lu Jingli, he'll be much more useful than a mere assistant like Cheng Feng. Ning Shuiluo's face stiffened, and she said awkwardly, It'd be great if we can get in touch with each other, but Dad, you know that my sister has a deep misunderstanding about our family. How about I beg her? Zhuang Lingyu couldn't stand it anymore. Beg? Lu Jingli had friends all over the world. He had one today and another tomorrow. How long would he remember her? The company has so many new employees, and he might forget about her one day. I'm just picking her up on the way. Ning Yaohua's eyes suddenly lit up. Shuiluo, do you think Lu Jingli will do something to Ningxi? Ning Shuiluo knew what Ning Yaohua was thinking. In fact, she had thought of it too, but she immediately denied it. Dad, that doesn't seem possible. Everyone in the industry knows that Lu Jingli never messes with female artists from his own company. Ning Yaohua sighed. He knew that their relationship didn't seem that way, but he still didn't want to give up. Anything related to the Lu family was a huge resource, not to mention the second-in-command of the Lu group. Lu Jingli, his daughter, whom he had always regarded as a burden, might still have some value. When the three of them returned to the banquet hall, many people immediately asked them if they were from the Lu clan, causing their expressions to turn ugly. He could only say that it was a mistake. In order to save face, he even made up an excuse, saying that it was a relative with the surname Lu who came to visit, not the Lu family of the Lu group. In the car, Xianxia held little Bun in her arms, who was so sleepy that his eyes almost couldn't open. Her heart ached for him. As she coaxed him to sleep, she said, "I told you it would be very late. Why didn't you wait for me at home?" Lu Jingli looked bitter and resentful. He glanced at his brother and then poked his head out to complain to Xianxia in a low voice. I want to, but do you think they can wait?" It had only been 5 minutes since the 2 hours had passed, and the two devils were already restless. "My brother called you, but you didn't reply. You looked so scary. Then you texted me to say that you would be back later, and my brother couldn't sit still anymore. He was afraid that you would be bullied there, and little Bun started to torture me. Left with no choice, I could only drive them out and wait for them here. Okay, I finally got closer to you, and the two of them were a little more peaceful. But when I saw you coming out, and you were blocked, I had no choice but to go down and snatch them myself." Chapter 572. Upon hearing this, Xianxia glanced at little Bun, who was sleeping soundly in her arms, and then at the Demon King, who was working beside her. The great Demon King looked down at the documents in his hands with an incomparably calm expression, as if he had only come to accompany little Steamed Bun. It was understandable that little Steamed Bun would be anxious, but the great Demon King was actually so agitated over such a small matter. It was really hard to imagine. Wasn't Lu Jingli exaggerating? Sensing the girl's gaze on him, Lu Tingxiao looked up from the pile of documents and asked, "Are you okay?" Xianxia snapped out of her trance and said hurriedly, "I'm fine. I'm just going home." Lu Tingxiao looked at Xianxia's relaxed expression and obviously didn't believe her, but he didn't say anything. "Oh, right. Lu Tingxiao, I have something to ask you." Xianxia suddenly remembered something. Xianxia frowned and said, "Here's the thing. I bought a jade bead bracelet in your treasure pavilion as a gift for my grandpa. I bought it at a 20% discount and only spent 120,000 yuan. Why did someone say this bracelet was worth more than 2 million yuan and was blessed by an eminent monk when I gave it to my grandpa as a gift?" Xianxia had said so much, but Lu Tingxiao only replied with 2 words, "Really?" Xianxia narrowed her eyes and puffed up her cheeks. Was he not admitting that he had done it? He was still pretending. "Didn't you ask the shop assistant to do it?" Xianxia asked directly. Lu Tingxiao replied expressionlessly, "I was overseas on a business trip." Xianxia was stunned. She blinked and then blinked again and again, dumbfounded. Right. You were in Philadelphia on a business trip. Since he was overseas, how could he have known what had happened and gotten someone to help her out of trouble? That's weird. What's going on? That old grandpa seems to be quite powerful. I didn't see wrongly. Hey, Lu Tingxiao, your shop assistant seems to have sold the wrong thing. As the boss, aren't you going to do anything about it?" Xianxia mumbled. Lu Tingxiao nodded. "Yeah, I'll reward him later." Xianxia was speechless. Lu Jingli. "I'm suddenly not hungry anymore. He was full of dog food, hee. Xianxia completely gave up arguing with Lu Tingxiao. At this moment, she had something more annoying. She said with a headache, "By the way, because of this jade string, I was arranged to go on a blind date for no reason." What? What? Lu Jingli suddenly tensed up. If he had a tail behind him, it would be wagging excitedly and asking, "Little Cece, what blind date? What blind date?" Blind date. Lu Tingxiao's calm face began to waver. Xianxia held her chin and sighed with great melancholy. At that time, there was a very powerful old grandpa who recognized the origin of my jade string because he also had a consecrated one. It was given to him by his grandson. He said that his grandson and I were destined to be together. After chatting with my grandpa for a long time, he inexplicably wanted to introduce his grandson to me. Then my grandpa saw his grandson's photo and thought that he looked good, so he agreed. They even arranged a time to meet. My grandpa even told me about this before I left. Lu Jingli, who was standing aside, was stunned. Fuck, fuck, fuck. Is that even possible? Little Cece, are you really going to go? How could he say this? Sister-in-law had only gone out for a trip. How could his brother have a love rival as soon as she came back? It was too cruel. Chapter 573. Lu Jingli was horrified and nervously looked at Ning, she from the rearview mirror. Cece, you're more unruly than me. Surely you won't go on a blind date, which is against your nature, right? The corner of Ning, she's mouth twitched. Unruly my ass. No matter how unruly I am. That was arranged for me by my grandfather, okay? When I went back this time, I found that his health was much worse than before, and his hair was all white. Lu Jingli's heart skipped a beat. He was doomed. From what she said, it seemed that his brother was doomed. Cece, there are many ways to express your filial piety. Don't take it too hard. Are you really going to go? Lu Jingli asked anxiously. After Lu Jingli asked, he subconsciously looked at his brother from the rearview mirror. He had thought that his brother would definitely be frozen and snowy, but he didn't expect that he would be so quiet and unresponsive. Seeing his reaction, Lu Jingli was even more afraid. At this moment, Lu Tingxiao was really quiet, but this was not true calmness. Instead, it was like a dead silence after being suppressed to the extreme. He wanted to appear in front of her openly, wanted to protect her personally, wanted to kiss her in front of everyone, even when she was dressed in women's clothes. He wanted to tell everyone that this person was his, and he wanted to forbid anyone from touching her. However, now he didn't even have the right to pursue her openly, let alone declare his sovereignty. His identity was special, and now Ning, she was in the critical period of her career. If she got involved with him, all her efforts would be in vain. At that time, no matter how hard she worked, all her success would be considered because of his support. He liked the way she worked hard for her dream and didn't want to ruin everything for her because of his selfishness. Ning, she was wondering how to deal with this matter in a way that satisfied both sides when she inadvertently met Lu Tingxiao's eyes. What a pair of eyes! They were obviously cold and alienated, as if nothing in the world could enter his world. But at a glance, she could see the hidden heat in the depths of his eyes, which was as hot as volcanic magma that almost burned her to ashes. The car suddenly became quiet. Lu Jingli looked at his brother and then at Ning Shi. His handsome face suddenly darkened. Hey, you two. When you stare at each other affectionately, can you pay attention to the other people in the car? After a moment, Lu Jingli said, Okay, I was wrong. I am not a human. Continue to ignore me. Woof, woof. Pearl River Imperial View. After sending Ning, Shi, and Little Bun downstairs, Lu Jingli didn't leave, but looked at Ning Shi pitifully. Sister-in-law, I'm so hungry. I want to eat your hot pot. Holding Xiao Baozi, Ning Shi narrowed her eyes and said coldly, What did you call me? Shi. Lu Jingli immediately. Ning Shi was satisfied. Didn't you have dinner tonight? As soon as I got off work, I went straight to your place and ate some snacks in the car. Brother didn't even have a meal. Lu Jingli continued to act pitiful. He hadn't found out how Ning she was going to deal with the blind date. He couldn't leave, or he wouldn't be able to sleep tonight. Ning she looked helpless. Fortunately, she had taken Xiao Bao to eat before she sent him there. Otherwise, he would have starved together. She knew that it was unreliable to rely on a man to take care of a child. Ning, she was so shocked that she didn't dare to look into Lu Tingxiao's eyes. She said, Okay, let's go upstairs together. I'm a little hungry. Chapter 574. When passing by the front desk, Ning she looked bitter and resentful. She muttered indignantly, You're so annoying. What's wrong? Lu Jingli asked casually. Ning she said with a pained expression, The receptionist of our apartment used to be a super cute girl. I gave her a box of lipstick on the first day she came here. Later, We got along very well and often gossiped with me. Later, I don't know which crazy leader replaced the receptionist with a rough uncle. Oh, I'm so angry. Give me back my cute girl. Uh, Lu Jingli's first reaction was to turn his head and look at his brother, who looked extremely calm, as if he had not done anything bad at all. Ha, who did it? Was it necessary to ask? His brother's rivals in love were really everywhere. He was busy enough dealing with his rivals in love every day. After going upstairs and getting out of the elevator, She was walking in the direction of her own door. When she just reached the corner, she suddenly stopped and stepped back with Xiaobao in her arms. Cici, what's wrong with you? You look like you've seen a ghost. Lu Jingli behind her was puzzled. Lu Tingxiao had already seen someone at Xi's door from the corner of his eye and couldn't help but frown slightly. She sighed with a headache. Su Yan. What? Su Yan? Your first love? What happened to him? He's at my door. Lu Jingli's eyes immediately widened. Damn, what does he want to do at your door in the middle of the night? Cici, I'll help you beat him up. Shi rolled her eyes at Lu Jingli and turned to Lu Tingxiao. Help me carry Xiaobao. I'll deal with it soon. Lu Tingxiao nodded. Okay. Lu Jingli looked at his brother's gentle and virtuous face, and the corner of his mouth twitched. You can really pretend to be a little white rabbit in front of your wife, but in fact, your heart is already full of blood. Su Yan was leaning against Shi's door with a cigarette between his fingers. He looked like he was lost in thought, and no one knew what he was thinking. It was not until Shi had already walked in front of him that he noticed her and suddenly looked up. Cici, you're back. Shi nodded. Is the banquet over? I sent Shua Luo over and came to see you on the way. I thought you had already reached home. Did something happen on the way? Su Yan asked with concern. He did not know that Shi was picked up by Lu Jingli. No, there's a traffic jam. What can I do for you? Shi said perfunctorily. It was all because Lu Jingli only cared about gossiping with her and drove at a snail's pace. I was too busy to be you on just now. I didn't have time to talk to you properly. Su Yan looked at her, hesitating to speak. It's too late, and it's not convenient to invite you in. If you have something to say, just say it. She said. Su Yan hesitated for a while and finally said, There's something I want to remind you. Cici, if you want to go back to the Ning family now, I'm afraid your identity will be a bit awkward. Oh? How so? She raised her eyebrows slightly when she heard this and looked like she was humbly asking for advice. Under the dim light, the girl's bright, glass-like eyes were unbelievably beautiful. Su Yan's breathing stagnated, and his mind was almost taken away. For a moment, he forgot what he wanted to say and only came back to his senses after being in a daze for a long time. Chapter 575. Su Yan's expression was a little awkward when he realized his gaffe. He coughed lightly and continued. In the past 5 years, the structure and division of power in Ning's International have been fixed. In this case, if there is another competitor for the successor, the consequences will be unpredictable. She took a playful look at the man in front of her and said calmly, What if? I want Ning's International Group. Su Yan's gentle face darkened, and he said seriously, Xiaoxi, don't mess around. This involves too much. If you insist on getting involved in this mess, you will only get yourself hurt. You affect those people's interests. How can they let you go? She snorted. Oh, those people's interests. Whose interests are they? He always pretended to be sorry and wanted to take care of her, but as soon as his interests were involved, he would change his attitude. Su Yan looked at Shi's mocking eyes and felt a sting in his heart. He hurriedly said, Xiaoxi, you misunderstood me. I'm not doing this for myself, and I don't care about the Ning family's property. I'm just afraid it will be difficult for me to choose between you and Xuelua. She stretched herself and glanced at him. What's so difficult about it? Do you have a second choice between Xuelua and me? Looking at the girl's slightly raised lips and the disdain in her eyes, Su Yan suddenly clenched his fists and his eyes gradually darkened after a long while. He finally calmed down. He sighed softly and didn't dare to look at the girl's eyes. Even if it was 5 years ago, he would not hesitate to choose Xuelua because he loved Xuelua. Love was selfish. Even if he knew Shiluo did something wrong, he still chose to protect her. But now, he didn't know what was going on with him. Since Ning, she returned to China, his eyes had been following her involuntarily, and recently it was getting harder and harder to control this impulse. He had always been clear about what he wanted, and a woman like Ning Shualuo was the perfect partner in his ideal world. But why was it that his deep-rooted understanding was crumbling bit by bit? Even tonight, even if he wanted to avoid arousing suspicion, he shouldn't have come so late. But he still came, because he wanted to see her, even if it was just to listen to her sarcastic remarks. Suyin calmed himself down and softened his tone. Cici, what I said is for your own good. I hope you can think about it. If you need any help, feel free to contact me. He still wanted to say something, but found that there was nothing left to say between the two of them. His face was gloomy as he said, It's too late. I won't disturb you anymore. Good night. At the same time, in the corner, Lu Jingli's eyes were shining. He could not help but say in a low voice, my sixth sense has caught a trace of an unusual aura. This Su Yin, the way he looks at little Cici, doesn't seem right. As soon as he finished speaking, the depression that Lu Tingxiao had been suppressing for a whole night suddenly burst forth. Lu Jingli was so scared that his hair stood on end. He wiped his sweat and muttered to himself, Hey, what's going on? Brother, are you suffering from a stroke? Why are you so unlucky? Love rivals come one after another, and I don't know what's going on, but I keep feeling uneasy. I keep feeling like something big is going to happen. I'm so scared. Chapter 576. After entering the house, Ning she first took Xiaobao to the bedroom to sleep, and then opened the refrigerator to find ingredients and base. Thanks to Xiaobao, she bought a lot of food after Xiaobao came. The refrigerator was full of all kinds of ingredients and seasonings, so it was not difficult to make a hot pot. Lu Tingxiao naturally took the vegetables from Ning Shi's hands and helped her wash them. Ning Shi glanced at him and rolled up his sleeves. Lu Jingli felt that he was too bright, so he stayed in the living room to watch TV. Soon, the dishes were ready. The hot pot base was bubbling and exuded a tempting aroma. Lu Jingli couldn't stand it anymore. He rushed over and looked at the pot base on the table. It was half clear and half red soup, and he was stunned. Hey, Cici, did you make a yuanyang pot? Your brother can't eat spicy food. Ning she answered casually while setting the bowl and chopsticks. Oh, Lu Jingli bit his chopsticks and his eyes darted around. I say, little Cici, do you like my brother? Cough, cough, cough. Ning she choked on her saliva and almost bit her tongue. She looked at Lu Tingxiao in a panic and said, What nonsense are you talking about? You are so nice to my brother. Lu Jingli muttered, Are there any subordinates who don't please the boss? Can't you control your imagination for a bit? Next time you slander me for coveting the boss, I will beat you up. Ning she immediately expressed her innocence and then handed a pair of chopsticks to Lu Tingxiao. Boss, don't listen to his nonsense. Heaven and earth can prove my sincerity to you. I absolutely have no bad intentions. Lu Tingxiao took the chopsticks and glanced at her. Yes, Lu Jingli, puffed. Ning shi. After eating for a while, Lu Jingli rubbed his half-full belly with satisfaction. He finally had the energy to gossip again. Little Cici, can I ask you a question? He asked. What do you want to ask? Well, how do you feel about Su Yan? Lu Tingxiao's hand that was serving Ning, she paused slightly. What do you mean? Oh my God, do you still have feelings for him? Why do you want me to say it so clearly? Ning, she rolled her eyes at him. Do you think it's possible? Lu Jingli bit his chopsticks. Why not? Isn't the first love the most unforgettable and unforgettable? After saying that, he gave his brother a meaningful look. Wasn't Ning she his brother's first love? Why did everyone think that she still had feelings for Su Yan? Ning Tianxin was like this, and so was Lu Jingli. Ning she took a bite of the potato and said unhappily, The world is so big and there are so many handsome guys out there. I'm not a little girl who didn't see the world. Do I have to hang on that tree all the time? I already have someone I like, okay. As soon as he finished speaking, not only Lu Jingli, but even Lu Tingxiao's back stiffened. Lu Jingli naturally wouldn't let go of this good opportunity to inquire about the situation. He immediately followed up on this topic and asked, I think I've heard you mention it before. Who was the person you're talking about? What did that guy look like? Was he handsome? More handsome than yours truly? What kind of man can make brother Xi like him? Tell me, tell me, tell me. Looking at Lu Jingli's excited little face, Xianxia was speechless. Let me think about it. Think. Lu Tingxiao sat there in silence. He suddenly didn't want to continue listening, but he couldn't leave, even though he knew the answer was a sharp knife. Chapter 577. Xianxia rubbed her chin and glanced at Lu Tingxiao out of the corner of her eye. She thought about it seriously and then answered, He's powerful, domineering, talented, gentle, romantic, witty, brave, mature, and steady. He's unparalleled in 1,000 years. He's so good at strategizing that he outshines the moon, the flowers, the fish, and the geese. He's so beautiful that he's walking on colorful clouds. Lu Jingli, Lu Tingxiao. After a long while, Lu Jingli came back to his senses and the corners of his mouth twitched. Are you sure you're talking about a human? He's even walking on colorful clouds. Do you have to be so dramatic? Lu Tingxiao couldn't describe his feelings at the moment. Ningxi's description was a little exaggerated, but he knew how perfect that person was in her heart. If you knew who he was, you wouldn't think I was exaggerating. Ningxi mumbled. Lu Jingli asked, Then who is he? Ningxi narrowed her eyes and stuffed a cream bun into Lu Jingli's mouth. Are you trying to get information out of me? Save it. Lu Jingli swallowed the bun. You're so stingy. Since you already have someone you like, do you still want to go on a blind date? He couldn't get any information out of her, but he had to figure out the urgent matter at hand. Ning, she sighed. I still have to go. I have to explain it to him. Otherwise, wouldn't it be embarrassing for my grandpa if I just stood him up? Lu Tingxiao's expression softened. He had expected this answer, but the possessiveness in his bones overrode his rationality. Even though he knew, he still couldn't calm down. Who could accept his wife going on a blind date? The next day, during the day, Ningxi took Xiao Bao to the studio for a walk. In the evening, because she had an appointment with old Master Shi's grandson, she went to Lu Enterprises to send Xiao Bao over. Although it wasn't her first time going to the company, every time she went there, she would still get a lot of stares. All of them wanted to take off her mask to see who she was. She went upstairs and had just stepped out of the elevator when a young girl suddenly plucked up the courage to rush up to her. Miss Su, I really like your movies. Can I have your autograph? Ningxi raised her eyebrows. Miss Su? Who? Could it be Ning? She quickly reacted. Did he think she was Su Yimo? Looking at the little girl's anxious and expectant expression, Ningxi really couldn't bear to refuse. In fact, she knew that the girl didn't really want her autograph. She was testing her identity. If she signed it, it would mean that she was Su Yimo. If she didn't sign it, it would mean that she wasn't. Just as she was thinking about what to do, Lu Tingxiao walked straight towards her. As soon as the little girl saw Lu Tingxiao, she ran away faster than a rabbit. She didn't see how she disappeared. Anyway, she disappeared in the blink of an eye. You couldn't blame the young lady for running away so quickly. Her boss was in a bad mood today. During the morning meeting, he scared a few department heads to tears. She was just a small secretary. In order to avoid being caught, she naturally had to hide as far away as possible. Seeing Xiao Bao in Ningxi's arms, Lu Tingxiao's face darkened. You're an adult, and you still want to carry me? Xiao Bao buried his little head in Ningxi's shoulder and looked aggrieved. Aunt Xiaoxi, Papa shouted at me. Chapter 578. Ningxi immediately touched Xiao Bao's head and argued. How old is he? He's only 5 years old. What Xiao Bao needs now is not to grow up, but to return to 4 years old, 3 years old, 2 years old, to learn how to be a child. Lu Tingxiao sighed and softened his tone. I'm afraid your hands will be tired. Then he paused and said in a low voice, Are you going now? She looked at the time on her phone. Yes, it's almost time. Lu Tingxiao's eyes changed several times before he finally calmed down. Go ahead, be careful. I know. She put Xiao Bao down and gave him a big hug as usual. Outside the CEO's office, a supervisor was holding a stack of documents in his arms, shaking his legs while taking out a quick-acting cardioplegia to get ready to go in. Behind him, Lu Jingli put his hand on the man's shoulder and shook his head with a sigh. Don't take it out. Even a quick-acting cardioplegia can't save you. With my brother's condition today, you'll die if you go in now. The supervisor turned his head and looked at the man as if he was mourning. Second young master, save me. You deserve it. You dare to slack off when my brother was in a good mood. Now you're in trouble. Lu Jingli complained mercilessly. He didn't even think about the fact that he was an expert at slacking off. It was just that he was lucky that he wasn't caught this time. Second young master, I have a family to take care of. My wife is about to give birth to a second child. The supervisor almost knelt down. Fuck, are you trying to provoke me? Lu Jingli was furious. How dare I? That's not what I meant. The supervisor said bitterly. Why did even second young master look like he had taken gunpowder today? Lu Jingli snorted a few times. Looking at his unlucky face, he kindly said, Don't go in today and court death. My brother doesn't have the mood to care about your stupid matter. Hurry up and go back to work on your plan. Yes, I'll go right away. Thank you, second young master. The supervisor left gratefully. Lu Jingli pushed open the door and entered the office. There was a tatami placed by the window in the office, obviously for Xiao Bao to look at his Aunt Xiaoxi. The corner of Lu Jingli's mouth twitched. Now that he could see her every day, why did she still look like she was longing for his return? She looked at her brother again. He was sitting in front of his desk with a serious expression. He was holding a fountain pen in his right hand and a few documents in his left hand. He looked like he was working hard, but his expression showed that he had already gone on a mental journey. Lu Jingli coughed lightly. Brother, are you sure you want to continue pretending to be virtuous? If he continued to pretend to be a wife, she would be gone. I say, you're really something. Just use a little trick to stop that she brat from going. Lu Tingxiao glanced at him. Do you think Ning she wouldn't have guessed that I was the one who did it? Moreover, doing this would not solve the root of the problem. How about I help you find a woman to pretend to be that kid's ex-girlfriend or something to cause trouble? Wouldn't Cece be able to leave in this way? Lu Jingli continued to help him come up with ideas. No, the possibility of being exposed on the spot was very high. As cautious as Lu Tingxiao was, he naturally wouldn't use any flawed strategies. This won't work and that won't work. What should we do? Brother, I'm not trying to scare you. Although Cece said she was just going to explain, what if the other party happens to be the type that Cece likes? Everything is possible, Lu Jingli said earnestly. Chapter 579. Lu Tingxiao put down the pen in his hand, tapped the table with his fingers, and slowly looked at his son on the tatami opposite him. Lu Jingli followed Lu Tingxiao's gaze and asked, Well, brother, what do you want to do? Lu Tingxiao got up, walked towards his son, and said, Xiao Bao, I want to take you out for dinner. Lu Jingli said, Well, brother, are you going to damn it? He was not satisfied with all the ideas he had thought of just now. But his own idea was to take nuclear weapons with Xiao Bao. Very good. He was a big devil. However, a certain nuclear weapon didn't seem to cooperate well. Hearing Papa's words, Xiao Bao was completely indifferent and wrote a word on the writing board, full. Auntie Xiaoxi had already fed him before leaving, and she cooked the dishes herself. Lu Tingxiao pinched his eyebrows and said, I want to take you to see Auntie Xiaoxi. Within 3 seconds, Xiao Bao put down his little hand that was holding his chin and looking out of the window, rolled down the tatami, put on his little shoes, ran to Papa, and opened his little short hands. Lu Tingxiao, Lu Jingli, nuclear weapons were so easy to control. Seeing that the father and son were ready to set off, Lu Jingli wagged his tail and followed them decisively. I want to eat too. Yes, eat. Half an hour later, in a stylish Japanese restaurant. There was a low table for eating in a Japanese restaurant. Guests took off their shoes and then sat on the ground. The dim light gave people a sense of relaxation. The person Ning she was waiting for hadn't arrived yet, so she ordered a cup of sake with a low alcohol content and drank it by herself while waiting for them. She didn't notice that just behind her, the big and small devils and Lu Jingli had all arrived. After entering the box, Xiaobao recognized Annie Xiaoxi by her back and was about to run to her. Lu Tingxiao stopped his son and said no. Xiaobao's little face was tense, and his face was full of why not. You promised to take me to see Annie Xiaoxi. Lu Tingxiao glanced at his son and said, I took you to see Auntie Xiaoxi, but you can only see her. Xiaobao, I've been tricked. After being taken to the seat behind Aunt Xiaoxi, Xiaobao looked unhappy. However, because Aunt Xiaoxi was right in front of him and he could see her as soon as he looked up, his mood instantly became much better. After sitting down, Lu Jingli looked at Ning Shi, who was sitting alone opposite him. TSK, TSK, TSK. Didn't little Cece say that we have an appointment at 7 o'clock? It's already 7:10. You're late for your first date. Points deducted. Although I haven't seen that she's Shurqing, I don't think he's a strong competitor. There shouldn't be a chance for me to make a move. About 10 minutes later, Ning Shi had almost drunk a pot of wine, but she still hadn't arrived. Lu Jingli, who was behind him, suddenly felt a little dispirited. Don't tell me he's not coming. To think we were so nervous for so long. As soon as he finished speaking, the curtain in front of them was lifted by a white and slender finger, and then a man in a plain suit came in. The man had short hair that was as black as ink and a tall figure. His appearance wasn't the stunning type, but his temperament was gentle and refined. It was easy for others to have a good impression of him and trust him. The most special thing about him was that he had an otherworldly feeling that was detached from the secular world. Just a glance at him would cause others to calm down and be in a peaceful Buddhist realm. Oh my God, he's the best. The moment he saw the man, Lu Jingli suddenly had an ominous premonition. Chapter 580. Buddha, please don't let this person be. Lu Jingli was just about to say that he hoped this person wasn't Shi Shurqing when he heard Lu Tingxiao say, Shi Shurqing. Lu Jingli was dumbfounded. Fuck, it can't be. Is he really Shi Shurqing? He's Shi Shurqing? While he was still in shock, he saw the man take off his shoes and politely tell the waiter that he had an appointment. Then, he followed the waiter straight towards Ning Shi's direction. Hello, Miss Ning? Ning Shi had already finished her first pot and was drinking the restaurant's special cherry blossom wine. When she heard someone talking to her, and the voice was very comfortable, she subconsciously raised her head. After seeing the man in front of her, Ning Shi was obviously startled for a moment before she reacted. She stood up and said, Yes, I'm Ning Shi. Mr. Shi? The man nodded. Hello, Shi Shurqing. I'm sorry to have kept you waiting. It's fine. Have a seat. I didn't wait long. Ning Shi sat down again, nonchalantly. Shi Shurqing took off his suit jacket and put on the hanger beside him. Then he sat on the ground. Shi Shurqing's sitting posture was very standard. On the other hand, Ning Shi, a girl should usually kneel down properly, but she didn't. She sat boldly and boldly. One of her legs was bent, and the hand on the same side casually rested on her knee. She was more manly than a man. But even so, she didn't give off the impression of being rude. She was wearing wide-legged pants and her favorite embroidered motorcycle jacket. She gave off a free and easy vibe just by sitting there. She didn't have the constricting vibe of a Japanese restaurant at all. Ning, she had heard from her grandfather that the Shi family was a literary family, so the descendants of a Shi family should prefer educated, gentle, and pleasant women. In order to avoid unnecessary trouble, she did the opposite and specially dressed like this today. However, her plan didn't seem to work. After Shi Shurqing saw her, not only did he not feel disgust or contempt, but a trace of imperceptible admiration flashed across his eyes. Behind her, Lu Jingli was already shouting anxiously, It's over, it's over. Could it be that the two of them fell for each other? Did you notice the look in Xiao Cici's eyes when she got up and saw Shi Shurqing? She was obviously stunned for a moment. She was obviously stunned. Moreover, Shi Shurqing looked at Cici with admiration in his eyes. Damn it, wasn't he supposed to like the pretty daughter of a humble family? Our Cici is dressed so provocatively today. Lu Tingxiao took a sip of tea. His expression was still calm. If one didn't look at his tightened lips and the strength of his fingers that were gradually turning white as he gripped the teacup, Lu Jingli was still scratching his ears and cheeks as he analyzed. This Shi Qing is a little tricky. Although he's not as handsome as this young master, his aura is really special. Even from a man's point of view, it's very attractive. People couldn't help but want to get to know and befriend him. What's even more frightening is that, with little Cece's relatively unruly character, there's a great possibility that she will fall in love with someone like Shi Qing, who is the complete opposite of her character. Crack! The teacup in Lu Tingxiao's hand broke into pieces. Lu Jingli swallowed his saliva. No. I was just guessing. That was impossible. Didn't Cece say that she already had someone she liked? She won't fall in love with Shi Qing. As soon as his voice fell, his brother's face obviously turned even uglier. Chapter 581. Lu Jingli shut his mouth and no longer dared to speak. In such a situation, anything he said was too dangerous. On the other side, Ning Shi and Shi Qing had already begun talk. Although there was some distance between them, the restaurant was quite quiet. If one listened carefully, one could hear what they were talking about. Because he was late, Shi Qing felt that he should explain the reason out of basic courtesy. So he said, "I'm really sorry. I saw an old man fall on the way, so I sent him to the hospital, so I wasted some time." Ningxi could not help but laugh when she heard this. If any other man were to say this to me, I would definitely think that there was something wrong with his IQ. Even the excuse he made was so insincere, but I believe in your words, Mr. Shi. You really look like the kind of person who would help an old lady cross the road and send a lost child home. Shi Qing couldn't help but laugh. Miss Ning, are you saying that I look like a good person? Ningxi nodded. More than that, not only is he a good person, but he's also at the level of Golden Cicada. He's Tripitaka, you know? Shi Qing didn't know whether to laugh or cry at her interesting description. His eyes darkened. Miss Ning, you are very interesting. Ningxi's heart skipped a beat when she heard that. It was the first time she had seen such a special person. She couldn't help but flirt with him casually. Thus, he coughed lightly and quickly got down to business. It's like this, Mr. Shi. I'll get straight to the point. Actually, I don't have any intention of going on a blind date, but grandfather has already arranged for me to make an appointment with you, so I have no choice but to come here and explain the situation to you. I hope I can gain your understanding. Shi Qing didn't seem to be angry or dissatisfied when he heard this, but something seemed to fall from the depths of his eyes. Behind her, Lu Jingli heard Ning Shi's words and suddenly pricked up his ears. He regained some energy and said, "Good job, little Cece. You KO'd him." Hearing Ning Shi's words, Shi Qing immediately expressed his understanding. "I understand. Although it's a pity, I respect your wishes." Hearing this, Ning Shi raised her eyebrows slightly. A little regret? Was he interested in her? No way. There wasn't a single part of her body that matched this man's taste today, right? He was probably just being polite, right? Oh, this type of man is possible. So, you don't have to feel pressured. Let's just treat this as a meal between friends, okay? Shi Qing said. Ning, she suddenly realized something. Although this man's looks weren't stunning, his voice was too fucking nice. It was simply Sue. Since the other party had said so and was so cooperative, Ning she naturally couldn't refuse. Of course. Behind him, Lu Jingli bit into a piece of salmon. Damn it, I misjudged. She had thought that he was a holy monk who didn't lust after women, but it turned out that he was also lustful. In such a situation, if there's no meaning in it, he should just pay the bill and leave. He actually wants to have a meal together, and even said that he's a friend. He's obviously up to something. Lu Jingli kept complaining, and Lu Tingxiao didn't look too good either. Xiaobao, who was admiring Xiaoxi's back, finally realized something was wrong. Well, why was Aunt Xiaoxi eating with another uncle she didn't know? Xiaobao pursed his lips, thought for a moment, and then wrote 2 words on the writing board. Date? Chapter 582. Xiaobao pursed his lips, thought for a while, and then wrote 2 words on the writing board. Date? If he didn't understand, he would humbly ask for advice. Was Aunt Xiaoxi on a date? Lu Tingxiao and Lu Jingli looked at the question on Xiao Bao's writing board at the same time. Lu Jingli sighed and looked at Xiao Bao as if looking at a poor child who was about to be abandoned by his mother. Baby, this is more terrible than a date. This is called a blind date. Do you know what it means? Xiao Bao shook his head honestly. A blind date is one of the traditional wedding etiquette in China. It is also called a matchmaking ceremony, an interview, and a face-to-face meeting. It is usually arranged by a matchmaking agency or a human resources department, a family, or a matchmaker, and then the parents of the 2 parties meet and discuss the marriage. Lu Jingli explained a little, but Xiao Bao still looked innocent and didn't understand. So Lu Jingli had to say something. A blind date means that your Aunt Xiaoxi is going to be taken away by another man. She is going to have another baby with another man. The moment Lu Jingli finished his words, Xiao Bao's little face fell. Aunt Xiaoxi is going to have another baby with another man. Another baby, another baby. Poor Xiao Bao's mind was completely occupied by these words, and without any warning, he began to burst into tears within a second and couldn't stop. Lu Jingli just wanted to tease him, but he didn't expect that it would go too far. Seeing Xiao Bao crying like this, he immediately panicked. Hey, baby, don't cry. Lu Tingxiao glanced at Lu Jingli like a knife, and then pulled Xiao Bao to his side. A blind date is just a way for men and women to get to know each other. It's far from marriage, not to mention that she has just refused him. Now she is just having a meal with him. Lu Tingxiao explained patiently. However, Xiao Bao was so hurt just now that he couldn't listen to anything at all. His tears flowed like a river, and he cried so hard that he almost couldn't breathe. Lu Tingxiao and Lu Jingli, 2 big men who didn't know how to coax children at all, looked at Xiao Bao, who was crying so hard, and were confused on the other side. Ningxi still had no idea what kind of earth-shattering thing had happened behind her. He had just drunk 2 pots of wine. Although the alcohol content was not high, he was still a little tipsy. In addition, Xianxia's temperament was too much of a cheat. It was too easy to let people down, so he could not help but relax. While drinking and eating sashimi, he chatted with Xianxia about some safe topics. Are you in the jewelry business? It just so happens that I'm starting a fashion studio recently, and I will definitely need jewelry and other accessories. At that time, I will shamelessly ask you for help. Ningxi suddenly had the responsibility of being a boss, and took the opportunity to pull in business. Miss Ning is too serious. You can contact me at any time if you need anything. After chatting for a while, Xianxia asked, Miss Ning, I don't know if you remember, but many years ago, we met once. Hearing this, Ningxi sobered up a little. Really? It doesn't make sense that I don't have any impression of you even though I've seen you before. After all, Xianxia was quite a special person. Hearing this, Xianxia took a sip of wine, and his eyes wavered as he said, At that time, your eyes were on another person, so naturally you wouldn't notice anyone. Chapter 583. No matter how dazzling he was, in her eyes, he was probably transparent, not to mention that he was just a kid in university at that time. Ningxi blinked. Listening to this voice, it sounded like when she was infatuated with Su Yin 5 years ago. However, she really couldn't remember seeing Xianxia, so she was a little curious. Under what circumstances did he see her? It had been 5 years, but he still remembered. Really? When? Ningxi asked casually. 5 years ago, your 18th birthday party. Xianxia answered. She shook the wine glass in her hand. After all, that was her worst day. Xianxia revealed a look of reminiscence and slowly said, You know, my grandfather and your grandfather have a good relationship, so I also went to that birthday party. I remember that you were wearing a white dress, and the first time I saw you, I was very surprised. You were like a natural princess. Hearing Xianxia's description, Ningxi really didn't know what to say. Hep, princess. Obviously, Mr. Xi's memory is not complete. That dress was a fake and was later exposed in public. Xianxia lightly interrupted her. Is it important whether it's real or fake? Even if the ugly duckling was born in a flock of ducks, she is still a swan, and nothing will change. That was the most memorable day of his life, because it was the first time he fell in love with a girl at first sight, and then watched helplessly as that girl was bullied, and he could do nothing about it. After that, he probably never went to the Ning family again. Hearing this, Ningxi's heart skipped a beat, and her eyes gradually darkened. "Oh, Mr. Shi, you seem to know more than I thought." Only then did Xianxia realize that he seemed to have lost his composure and said too many things that he shouldn't have said. "Sorry, I didn't mean to hear it." Because his gaze had been following her, he had unintentionally heard some things that he shouldn't have heard. After knowing about it, he felt even more sorry for her and hated his own incompetence. 5 years later, he became famous, but he still couldn't let go of that matter, until his grandfather suddenly told him that he had arranged a blind date for him. Originally, he wanted to directly refuse, but he didn't expect his grandfather to say that the other party was the young miss of the Ning family. The young miss of the Ning family, Ning Xiuo, was about to be engaged. So who else could it be? He didn't dare to think about it, so he asked again if it was Ning Tianxin. However, the name that came out of his grandfather's mouth was Ning Shi, which he didn't even dare to think about. She had disappeared for 5 years. Was she finally back? Because he never paid attention to the entertainment industry, nor did he read the entertainment news, he didn't even know a few of the popular stars. He was almost a dead person, so he didn't know that she had returned a year ago and had even become an actress. In order to have a common topic with her, he read all of her works, as well as all of the news and headlines related to her. All these years, he had been living a pure and simple life. He especially loved Buddhism, and his favorite place to visit was the temple. He would discuss Buddhism with his masters, and his family was worried that he would become a monk. He didn't expect her to appear at this time. While Ning Shi and Xianxia were reminiscing about the past, behind them, the little devil king had been completely demonized. Lu Jingli and Lu Tingxiao took turns to try countless methods, but none of them worked. They couldn't coax him at all. Lu Jingli was about to kneel down. "As long as you don't cry." Chapter 584. It's nothing. If you know, then you know. Ningxi shrugged nonchalantly. However, because of Xianxia's words, her heart was still a little moved. She didn't expect that on the most miserable day of her life, on the day when she thought that she would be separated from the whole world, there was someone who stood on her side unknowingly. This gave her an indescribable feeling, as if she was being redeemed. It turned out that this world wasn't so unbearable, so incorrigible. Oh, as expected of a man who looked like the reincarnation of Buddha, this ability to deliver all living beings from suffering was simply amazing. Xianxia heard her say this and heaved a sigh of relief. Back then, I always felt very regretful and guilty that I couldn't help you. If you need anything now, please be sure to tell me. I won't hesitate to go through water and tread on fire. This Xianxia, wasn't he too kind? She almost couldn't help but give him a good guy card. Ningxi smiled and raised her glass to toast him. "Mr. Shi, you're not Buddha. You can't deliver all living beings from suffering." "I don't want to deliver all living beings from suffering. Only you," Xianxia blurted out, looking a little anxious. As soon as he finished speaking, a blush appeared on that otherworldly face. Ningxi was startled, her heart skipping a beat. This isn't quite right behind her. "Xiaobao, don't cry, okay? Second uncle knows he's wrong. Second uncle won't talk nonsense anymore. Please, if you cry again, I'm gonna cry too. Sob, sob, sob." Lu Jingli was in a terrible fix when he noticed Xianxia saying, "I don't want to deliver all living beings from suffering, only you," on Ningxi's side, which was almost like a confession. He was instantly dumbfounded. Fuck, you can't judge a book by its cover. Why is this Xianxia so good at sweet-talking? Looking at his crying son and the two people in front of him, Lu Tingxiao could only feel a familiar but forcefully suppressed hostility lingering in his internal organs. He had an urge to destroy everything that got close to her. After saying that, Xianxia subconsciously wanted to explain that he didn't mean that, but for some reason, he changed his mind. He didn't say anything and just quietly waited for the girl's reaction. Explain? Why did he have to explain? He had waited for 5 years for this day. How much longer do I have to wait? Ningxi was bewildered by Xianxia's attitude. There seemed to be footsteps behind her, followed by a shadow, falling on the low table in front of her. Then, she saw Xianxia staring behind her with a surprised expression. Ningxi's heart skipped a beat. She subconsciously turned her head away. Then he saw the gloomy face of the great demon king and the little bun in his arms, whose eyes were red from crying. Ningxi? Why are Lu Tingxiao and Xiaobao here? One big and one small. The big one was silent while the small one was crying his heart out. He was trying his best to get her to hug him. She was sitting there with a man in front of her. What kind of déjà vu is this? Like a husband bringing his child to catch an adulterer. Ningxi was so shocked that she froze for a while and didn't pick up Xiaobao. Seeing that Aunt Xiaoxi didn't hug him, little Bun was heartbroken. His tears rolled down like a floodgate. He sobbed and tried very hard to open his mouth as if he wanted to say something, but he couldn't say a word. Chapter 585. In the eyes of others, the little Bun was just crying too hard, so he couldn't speak, but he could clearly see the shape of his mouth. Was he silently calling out, "Mom," again and again? After seeing the shape of the little Bun's mouth, with a clang sound, the wine glass in Xianxia's hand was accidentally overturned to the ground. This child was calling Ningxi mother? How was this possible? Impossible. It was definitely impossible. This little boy looked to be 4 or 5 years old. How could Ningxi have such an old son? And this expressionless man with an oppressive aura, he felt that he looked a little familiar, as if he had seen him somewhere before. Ningxi also seemed to be very surprised. Could it be that the other party had recognized the wrong person? Just as Xianxia was thinking about this, he saw Ningxi suddenly stand up and quickly hug the little boy from Lu Tingxiao's embrace, coaxing him like a precious treasure. "Baby, don't cry. Don't cry. I'm sorry. It's all my fault. Don't cry, okay?" Xianxia's face instantly turned pale. In the next second, he met the man's cold and deep gaze. That gaze was clearly the gaze of a stranger who had violated his property. It carried an extremely strong sense of aggression. However, when he retracted his gaze and looked at Ningxi, his ice-like gaze immediately turned into a gentle stream of water. This man and Ningxi, what was their relationship? Could it be that Ningxi had already gotten married and had children 5 years ago? No. Impossible. 5 years ago, Ningxi was so young. What was going on? Xianxia was completely confused. At this moment, Ningxi's entire body and mind were focused on the crying little Bun. Neither Lu Tingxiao nor Xianxia had the time to care about her, so they naturally wouldn't notice Xianxia's unpredictable expression. Because the scene on Ningxi's side was too eye-catching, 2 men, a woman, and a child, all of them had such outstanding appearances. Very quickly, more and more gazes were directed towards them. "I'm sorry, Mr. Xi. I have to leave first." Ningxi carried the little Bun and hurriedly left the restaurant. Because of the little Bun's crying, she was so flustered that she even forgot to take her bag and phone. Lu Tingxiao carefully helped her put them away one by one, then followed them up and paid the bill for this table. Xianxia stayed in place for a few seconds before quickly following her out. Outside the door, Ningxi was standing by the roadside with the little boy in her arms. It was a little cold outside at night, so the man took off his suit jacket and draped it over her shoulders. The 3 of them looked so harmonious. No one could step in. Ningxi used all her strength to coax the little Bun. Because he had cried too hard just now, he kept burping. Ningxi slowly patted his back and kissed his little face from time to time, comforting him gently. "Why are you and Xiaobao here?" When Xiaobao felt better, Ningxi remembered to ask Lu Tingxiao. "Xiaobao missed you, so I brought him here to see you." Lu Tingxiao lied without batting an eyelid. In fact, he was the one who had tricked Xiaobao into coming here. Hearing this, Ningxi felt even more guilty. Was that why Xiaobao didn't show up all this time? He just stayed behind and watched her silently? Was he crying so sadly because he saw her eating with another man and thought that she was going to be snatched away? She naturally thought like this. Lu Tingxiao looked at Ning's expression and knew that she believed him. He couldn't help but heave a sigh of relief. Otherwise, if she found out that he had brought Xiaobao out on his own and that he had cried because of Lu Jingli's nonsense, then the consequences. Chapter 586. Otherwise, if she found out that he was the one who had brought Xiaobao out on his own and that Xiaobao had cried because of Lu Jingli's nonsense, the consequences. Although Xiaobao was a sure kill skill, there were too many uncertainties, such as today's situation. Originally, he had only wanted to bring Xiaobao along in case of emergencies. Who knew that Lu Jingli's words would cause Xiaobao to completely lose control? Fortunately, it didn't cause too much of an impact in the end. Everything was basically within his plan. After she asked Lu Tingxiao, she inadvertently glanced at him from the corner of her eyes. Then, she saw that Xianxia had followed them out and was quietly standing a few steps away from them. She didn't know how long he had been standing there. Looking at Xianxia standing there alone, as thin as a piece of white paper, Ningxi's heart slightly tightened, and she gradually had a bad feeling. Although she had vaguely guessed that Xianxia might be interested in her during the meal, she seemed to have underestimated his obsession and feelings. That expression didn't look like he had just met an old friend who had once moved his heart. Instead, it was as if he had liked her for many years. She really couldn't figure it out. It was just a hurried meeting 5 years ago. Logically speaking, Xianxia shouldn't have such deep feelings for her, right? But no matter what, the facts seemed to be right in front of them. If that was the case, it would be really troublesome. Although they had only interacted for a short time, she could tell that Xianxia was indeed a good man. Furthermore, he was the grandson of her grandfather's good friend. If she didn't handle it well in the future, it would be very troublesome. Therefore, it would be best if he could cut the Gordian knot today and completely cut off his thoughts. Thinking of this, she withdrew her gaze and made up her mind. Wait a minute. Jing Li is going to drive the car. Lu Tingxiao stood at the windshield, his tall figure shielding Ningxi and Xiaobao from the wind. Ningxi narrowed her eyes and looked deeply into Lu Tingxiao's eyes. Lu Tingxiao. The girl's eyes were so mesmerizing that Lu Tingxiao's heart trembled. What's wrong? Ningxi stared at him without blinking. That gaze seemed to be able to see through a person's heart. Actually, it wasn't Xiaobao who wanted to come tonight, right? Did you bring Xiaobao here yourself? Lu Tingxiao, just a moment ago, he was rejoicing that nothing went wrong. Was he going to be exposed now? Lu Tingxiao's brain spun rapidly as he tried to come up with a countermeasure. However, what he didn't expect was that at this moment, Ningxi, who had just questioned him, suddenly tiptoed and kissed his lips. Lu Tingxiao only felt a boom in his brain and then a white light, and he didn't know anything else. Ningxi. What was she doing? From the corner of his eyes, he could even see the girl's long eyelashes. The softness of her lips was accompanied by a refreshing fragrance of wine. Everything was so surreal that it seemed like a dream. No, even in his dreams, he did not dare to imagine such a day, such a moment. Ouch! Lu Jingli had already driven his car over. As soon as he rolled down the window, he saw this scene. In his excitement, he almost mistook the accelerator for the brake. Ah! What was going on? What was going on? Why did he just drive a car and leave for a few minutes? He already couldn't understand this world. Chapter 587. Why was Cici kissing her brother? No. That was not the point. The point was that Cici was the one who took the initiative. If his brother was jealous and couldn't help kissing her, it might be possible, but the current situation was simply unscientific. Ningxi left Lu Tingxiao's lips and glanced as she Xianxia out of the corner of her eye. Then, she looked at Lu Tingxiao, her bright eyes rippling with a trace of a smile, shining like stars in the sky. She tilted her head and asked teasingly, "Are you jealous?" She sounded like a girlfriend teasing her boyfriend. Under Lu Tingxiao's startled gaze, Ningxi smiled and continued, I told you that the person I like is you." As soon as she finished speaking, Lu Jingli, who was in the car, was completely confused by the development of the plot. Lu Tingxiao listened to those sweet words and looked at the affection in the girl's eyes. He stretched out his long arms and tightly pulled the girl into his embrace. He covered her lips again and deepened the kiss. At this moment, even if he knew that there was a cliff in front of him, he was willing to jump down without hesitation. The kiss finally ended when Ning, she almost suffocated. She secretly looked over Lu Tingxiao's shoulder and glanced behind him, but Shi Shiqing was no longer there. Ning, she sighed secretly. Although she was very sorry, this was the best way she could think of for each other. Now that Shi Shiqing had finally settled the matter, there was, of course, a very important thing that she had to explain to the devil. The two of them were hugging each other. Suddenly, a soft thing nudged and nudged between the two of them. With a puff, a small head popped out. It was Xiaobao. Only then did Ning Shi realize that she was still holding Xiaobao in her arms. She hurriedly struggled and said, Ahem, Lu Tingxiao, you're squeezing Xiaobao. I'm gonna die." Just now, she was so focused on how to make Shi Shiqing give up that she forgot that Xiaobao was still there and did something inappropriate in front of Xiaobao. Hearing Ning Shi's words and looking at his son in his arms, Lu Tingxiao woke up from his dream. Little Bun puffed up his cheeks and looked at Papa angrily. Too much. Not only did he get a kiss from Aunt Xiaoxi, but he also got a hug from Aunt Xiaoxi. However, even though he was angry, he didn't seem to be that angry, because if Aunt Xiaoxi liked Papa, she could always be his Aunt Xiaoxi. No, it was Xiaoxi's mother. Thinking of this, Xiaobao decided to forgive Papa for the time being. After Lu Tingxiao released her, Ning Shi temporarily put Xiaobao down. Then she immediately stood at attention and made a 90-degree bow. "Boss, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to offend you. In order to avoid unnecessary trouble in the future, I wanted Shi Shiqing to give up. That's why I kissed you and said those words in desperation. I'm sorry." In the car, Lu Jingli was completely dumbfounded. This plot. It was simply full of ups and downs. He suddenly felt sorry for his brother's little heart. A second ago, he thought that little Cici liked him, but the next second, he was shattered into pieces by the truth at this moment. Lu Tingxiao looked at Ning Shi quietly and said nothing. Seeing that Lu Tingxiao did not speak, Ning Shi suddenly felt a little scared. Would the devil be angry? In fact, the reason why she dared to do this was that she believed that Lu Tingxiao, with his IQ, would definitely know her intentions immediately and cooperate with her. Chapter 588. The reason why Ning Shi dared to do this was that she believed that Lu Tingxiao, with his IQ, would know her intentions immediately and cooperate with her. As a result, the devil did cooperate with her, and the show was flawless. However, looking at Lu Tingxiao's reaction now, could it be that something went wrong? Tragedy. Lu Tingxiao couldn't have taken it seriously, right? This was not in line with the devil's IQ. In fact, after a short moment of shock, Lu Tingxiao immediately understood what Ning Shi wanted to do. However, at that time, his emotions prevailed over his reason. Even though he knew it was fake, he still suppressed the truth and indulged himself in the dream she had created after waiting for a long time. Lu Tingxiao finally spoke. He gently rubbed Ning Shi's head and said, "It's okay. You did a good job." The silence just now was not because he was angry. He just wanted to quietly remember her kiss, her words, and his feelings at that moment. Ning Shi finally breathed a sigh of relief when she heard this. But why did "you did a good job" sound so strange? At this time, Lu Jingli, who had been ignored for a long time, finally couldn't help but say, "Well, please come to see me. I've been waiting for a long time. Do you still want to get in the car?" Ning Shi rolled her eyes at Lu Jingli and then carried Little Bun into the car. As soon as they got in the car, Lu Jingli began to laugh. "Little Cici, I saw everything just now. Poor baby Xiaobao. He's almost like a stuffed biscuit." "Lu Jingli, I haven't asked you yet. The more I think about what happened today, the more I find it strange. Even if Xiaobao was unhappy to see me eating with Shi Shiqing, He didn't have to cry like that. Did you say something to Xiao Bao that you shouldn't have? Ningxi suddenly asked. Lu Jingli was so scared that he almost wet his pants. For the sake of his life, he swore to deny it. I didn't say anything. Little Cece, you've wronged me. Ningxi ground her teeth. Obviously, she had already decided that it was him. I've wronged you? Then I'll ask Xiao Bao directly. Let's see if I've wronged you or not. Lu Jingli was dumbfounded when he heard this. He hurriedly cast a pleading look at his brother. Brother, help me. If sister-in-law finds out, she will kill me. The more she loves Xiao Bao, the more painful she will beat me. Lu Tingxiao glanced at Lu Jingli's frightened face. For the sake of Lu Jingli's past achievements, he said, Ningxi, you just said you want Shi Shiqing to give up. Do you mean that Shi Shiqing has feelings for you? Ningxi's attention was diverted by Lu Tingxiao's words. She scratched her head and looked a bit embarrassed. To be honest, I'm also confused. I don't know why Shi Shiqing fell in love with me. We chatted before, and I only know that we met once 5 years ago. That was the only time, and we didn't have any other interactions. Of course, it could also be that I was too sensitive and thought too much. No matter what, there was no problem now. It's all thanks to Sir Boss. Thank you again. Lu Tingxiao, you're welcome. With the crisis averted, Lu Jingli wiped the sweat off his forehead. Looking at his brother's serious expression, he suddenly came back to his senses. Come to think of it, his brother did not suffer a loss this time. Not only did he KO a love rival without doing anything, but he also got a kiss for free. It was simply too profitable. It wouldn't be enough even if it happened a few more times. Chapter 589. In any case, this matter was finally solved smoothly. In the car, Ningxi was about to call Grandpa to report the situation, but she was a little hesitant. Alas, although she and Shi Shiqing had agreed to go home separately. What if Grandpa still didn't give up? Hello, Grandpa. Hey, Xiaoxi. Have you met the boy from the Shi family? How is he? Is he a nice guy? Well, Grandpa, he is nice, but he doesn't like me. Ningxi replied. What did you say? That boy doesn't like you? Grandpa, she said excitedly. No, Grandpa. I mean, we don't like each other. Don't try to make us a couple. Ningxi explained to Grandpa, according to the words she had discussed with Shi Shiqing. On the other end of the phone, Grandpa, she sounded very disappointed. How is that possible? Grandpa met the boy from the Shi family on purpose. He is handsome, so I'll let you go on a blind date with him. You don't like him? Then tell Grandpa what kind of man you like, and I'll help you find him. I have an old friend and his grandson. Oh no, oh no. Sure enough, Ningxi touched her forehead. Grandpa, don't. Grandpa, I really don't want to find a boyfriend now. Xiaoxi, believe me, I've been through it. You're in the best age. You can find the best man at this time, and Ningxi was having a headache. Suddenly, she felt a heat source beside her. Lu Tingxiao came up to her ear and whispered to her, Tell your grandpa that your boss doesn't allow you to have a boyfriend. Ningxi froze, covered the phone, and asked Lu Tingxiao, What? Didn't Lin Jiji tell you? You can't have a boyfriend now. Lu Tingxiao said calmly. Ningxi's eyes lit up. Yes, that's a good reason. Lu Jingli, who was driving, twitched the corner of his mouth and muttered, Haha, yes, the boss doesn't allow you to have a boyfriend. Only the boss himself. Grandpa, I just want to work hard now, and my career is on the rise. Our company doesn't allow me to have a boyfriend. Grandpa, she was angry. What? How can there be such a company that doesn't allow you to have a boyfriend? Does your boss understand human rights? Ningxi glanced at Lu Tingxiao, who had taken a bullet for her. Grandpa, that's what we do. If we have a boyfriend, we'll lose a lot of fans. What's more, I've opened my own studio. I'm so busy every day. Next month, I'm going to start the promotion of the new film. I have to travel all over the country. After that, I have to shoot the new film. I really don't have time. Ning Yuan originally wanted to ask her to come to the company, but hearing her voice, he knew that it was impossible. Although it was a shame, he was glad to hear that his granddaughter had her own career and was living a fulfilling life. Then what about Grandpa's great-grandson? When can I hold him? Hearing the old man's sorrowful sigh, Ningxi patted Xiao Baozi's head and sighed in her heart. Sigh. If only Xiao Baozi was my son, then everything would be solved. How about Grandpa? I get you a test tube baby. Lu Ting Xiao, Lu Jingli, Xiao Bao. What is a test tube baby? Chapter 590. Nonsense. After all, the old man was old, and his thinking was more traditional. It was impossible for him to accept this kind of thing. He was also afraid that Ningxi would do something stupid under pressure, so he hurriedly softened his tone. Forget it, forget it. In fact, you're still young. Go back to work first. I won't make things difficult for you, but you have to come back to see me often. This request is not too much, right? She was overjoyed. Not at all. I will come back to see you often. After hanging up the phone, she felt relieved. She finally got rid of a burden. Lu Jingli was still shocked by the word test tube baby. Brother Shi, you are awesome. You even have a test tube baby. She rolled her eyes at him. My grandpa wants to have a great-grandson. I can't find a man. What do you want me to do? Then where can you get sperm? Lu Jingli asked. Sperm bank. Lu Jingli glanced at his brother in the rearview mirror. Actually, there's one right next to you, and the genes are excellent. She knew who Lu Jingli was talking about. She said helplessly, Stop. Stop this inappropriate topic. Have a baby with the devil, Lu Tingxiao said. The quality of the sperm is better when it is natural. She said, That's enough. I was just saying, don't talk about it so deeply. Xiaobao is still here. She looked down. Fortunately, Xiaobao had cried himself to sleep. Pearl River Regency. Lu Tingxiao and Lu Jingli walked Shi and Xiaobao to the door upstairs. Lu Tingxiao touched his son's little head and looked up at Shi. I'm leaving. It's getting colder. Keep warm at night. Shi nodded. Okay, I know. Good night, boss. Lu Tingxiao gave her a deep look. Good night, boss. Lu Jingli yawned. Good night, brother Shi. If you have any gossip about Shi Shiqing, remember to share it with me. Shi looked speechlessly at the man who lived by gossiping. You can't miss out on anything. After saying their goodbyes, the two of them prepared to leave. However, Lu Tingxiao had just turned around when he felt his clothes being pulled by a small force. When he turned around, he actually saw that Xiao Bao had woken up at some point in time and was looking at him with drowsy eyes. One of his little hands was holding onto the corner of his clothes, refusing to let go. Lu Tingxiao was momentarily stunned. After all, Xiao Bao had never been so intimate with him before. Every time he left Ningxi's place, the little guy would be so happy and eager for him to leave. Not only Lu Tingxiao, Lu Jingli and Shi were also stunned. Xiao Bao, what's wrong? Shi asked softly. Xiao Bao blinked as he looked at Lu Tingxiao. Then he fumbled about in his robes. Shi knew that he was looking for a writing board, so she hurriedly took it out from the small bag he was carrying. Little Baozi was still clutching onto Lu Tingxiao's clothes with one hand. She rubbed her eyes with the other and then wrote a few words on the writing board. Daddy, don't go, for words. Before Lu Tingxiao could react, Lu Jingli howled, so touched that he was about to cry. Ow! Xiao Bao is so warm. I want to have a son too. I want to do a test tube baby. At this moment, Lu Tingxiao looked at his son's little hand holding his clothes and the 4 words on the writing board. His heart was filled with mixed feelings. Ningxi's eyes were already filled with tears. She wanted to see Lu Tingxiao and little Baozi getting along better. Lu Tingxiao, why don't you stay at my place tonight? Spend more time with Xiao Bao. Chapter 591. Lu Jingli wanted to go out and run wildly. Wow, he was so envious. It was so good to have a son. What a godly assist. Lu Tingxiao didn't know how to react, probably because the happiness came too suddenly. Although Xiao Bao had always been his trump card, this was the first time that Xiao Bao had helped him of his own accord. Was it because of what happened tonight? That was really a blessing in disguise. In the end, Lu Tingxiao stayed, and the single Lu Jingli ran home alone in tears. In the bedroom, She was lying on the bed with Xiao Bao, singing to him to coax him to sleep. Lu Tingxiao was sitting on the other side of the bed, one of his sleeves still held by the little boy. After coaxing Xiaobao to sleep, Ningxi asked, "Why don't you sleep with Xiaobao tonight? I'll go to the guest room." "We can sleep together," Lu Tingxiao said. Ningxi was stunned and scratched her head awkwardly. "Huh? Isn't that a bad idea?" Lu Tingxiao said, "No, I don't mind." She was speechless. This devil was getting naughty. Boss had said that he didn't mind being taken advantage of. How could she say that she did? Fortunately, the bed was big and there was a little bun in the middle, so it wasn't a big deal. When Ningxi entered the room after taking a bath, Lu Tingxiao was already lying on the bed. His hair was slightly damp and messy after taking a bath. Wearing pajamas, he looked down at Xiaobao beside him. His eyes were gentle, just like a father from an ordinary family. Ningxi's little heart was beating fast when she saw him. Hearing footsteps, Lu Tingxiao looked up. "Drink the milk before you go to sleep." Oh, why did it feel like Lu Tingxiao had two children? After drinking the milk, Ningxi lay down on the other side of Xiaobao. Lu Tingxiao turned off the main light in the room, leaving only a dim night light on. He bent over and kissed his son on the forehead. Seeing Ningxi looking at him, Lu Tingxiao raised his eyebrows. "Do you want a good night kiss too?" Ningxi widened her eyes and shook her head. She just felt that the way the devil took care of Xiaobao was very charming, so she just looked at him a few more times. How could he have such an ulterior motive? There was a hint of a smile in Lu Tingxiao's eyes. He suddenly walked past Xiaobao and leaned over. Under Ningxi's widened gaze, he kissed her on the lips. "Ningxi. Holy shit. Great Demon King, what are you doing? What happened to sleeping with Xiaobao?" Lu Tingxiao narrowed his eyes, concealing the trace of darkness in them. "This is the reward for blocking the arrow for you today." Ningxi. She was speechless the next morning. Ningxi woke up in a daze. She felt that she had never slept so soundly before. She didn't have any dreams all night, and her whole body was warm. The heat was so strong that she didn't want to get up. "No, I still have to get up and make a nutritious breakfast for little Bon." Ningxi finally opened her eyes. In the end, as soon as he opened his eyes, he saw a half-naked chest. 5 lightning strikes. Holy shit, what was going on? Why was she sleeping like this? She didn't know how she got to Lu Tingxiao's side, but she was lying on top of him. His pajamas were torn by her, revealing a large area of his honey-colored skin, and her hands were pressed on his bare abdomen and chest. Ningxi shivered and got up like a carp. She wanted to sneak to the other side, but she didn't control her strength and accidentally pressed on Lu Tingxiao's body. And it seemed that she was pressing on a place that she shouldn't have. Chapter 592. The man groaned and slowly opened his eyes. Bits of starlight leaked out from his eyes bit by bit. Reflecting her panicked and confused face, she swallowed her saliva and rolled her eyes, thinking about how to explain this ridiculous situation. Damn it. This situation was too fucking hard to explain. It wasn't that hard to explain, even if he was caught in bed. Ningxi's brain was about to explode. However, in the next second, she knew that this little bit of stimulation was nothing at all. Because, after Lu Tingxiao stared at her for a few seconds with his eyes that were clearly still not fully awake, he suddenly turned over fiercely. She was completely confused by Lu Tingxiao's sudden action. In addition, the air in her chest was getting thinner, and her brain couldn't focus at all. Even the feelings that she had suppressed for a long time were almost brought out by this apocalyptic kiss. She almost couldn't help but respond to him. What was worse was that because she was too close, she immediately felt the man's intense reaction in the morning. Fuck. Ningxi. Wake up. Darling Xiaobao was still sleeping at the side. Unfortunately, she had woken up, but Lu Tingxiao hadn't. This kiss was as if he wanted to tear her apart and swallow her whole. Ningxi had no choice but to bite down hard. In an instant, her mouth was filled with the smell of blood. Lu Tingxiao frowned, and his movements slowed down. Ningxi took advantage of this second to quickly push him away. She panted and said, "Hey, Lu Tingxiao, are you sleepwalking?" If he was sleepwalking, there was no point in asking. That wasn't right. Shouldn't sleepwalking be done at night? The sky was already bright. Just as she was confused, the man who had woken up slightly said in a hoarse voice, "No." Ningxi blinked her eyes, and her heart skipped a beat. Wasn't it? Lu Tingxiao's slender fingers ran through his messy hair, his eyes still filled with lust. "I'm sorry, I wasn't awake just now. I thought I was dreaming." Ningxi. This answer, what could she say? Ugh. Could it be that the great Demon King wanted to do such a thing to her in his dream? Moreover, the Lu Tingxiao just now was really different from the usual Lu Tingxiao in front of her. That kiss just now was simply too domineering. It was so domineering that it made people a little flustered. What were you doing just now? Before Ningxi could speak, Lu Tingxiao suddenly asked, and with one sentence, he changed his position from the perpetrator to the victim. Hearing this question, Ningxi felt really guilty. Well, would you believe me if I said I don't know? Lu Tingxiao looked at her deeply. His expression was one of disbelief. Ningxi's expression was incomparably sincere. Sir Boss, I swear to God, I really don't know how I woke up and fell asleep like this. Actually, my sleeping posture is pretty good. In short, this was an accident. Chapter 593. Ningxi murmured, "Besides, you just did that to me. Anyway, we're even, right?" Lu Tingxiao thought for a while and then nodded. "Okay, we're even." Ningxi heaved a sigh of relief. However, as soon as she breathed a sigh of relief, she felt something was wrong. This was not right. It was not even. She was the one who suffered a loss. Forget it, who asked her to go there first? Otherwise, Lu Tingxiao wouldn't have done what he did later. Well, boss, can you get up? I'm going to make breakfast. Ningxi asked weakly. Lu Tingxiao didn't leave immediately, but looked at her motionlessly. His eyes became darker and darker. Ningxi didn't know what she looked like at the moment. The girl lying under him had a charming blush on her cheeks. Her lips were a little swollen, her pajamas were a little messy, and her long black hair was splashed on the white pillow like ink. Lu Tingxiao couldn't help asking himself, how on earth did he restrain himself? Lu Tingxiao? Ningxi was a little frightened by his stare. Lu Tingxiao came to his senses and got out of bed. Ningxi immediately ran away like a rabbit. Ningxi quickly made a table full of delicious and nutritious breakfast, and then went to call Lu Tingxiao and Little Bun over to eat. Little Bun seemed to be particularly happy today. His delicate little face was brighter than usual, and he ate more than usual for breakfast. Ningxi had thought it was inappropriate to let Lu Tingxiao spend the night here last night. But now, looking at Little Bun's happy little face, she began to rejoice that she had made the decision to let Lu Tingxiao stay. In her heart, Little Bun would always be the first. As long as Little Bun was happy, everything else was fleeting. After breakfast, it was still very early, so Lu Tingxiao sat on the sofa and read the newspaper. Little Bun, who rarely stuck to Lu Tingxiao's side, picked up a book that Ningxi didn't understand, and used a writing board to communicate with Lu Tingxiao. Under the sun, the big and the small were like a warm oil painting, inexplicably giving people a feeling of peace and stability. Until Ningxi's cell phone suddenly rang. Ningxi looked down, and her heart suddenly sank. It was her grandfather calling. Lu Tingxiao saw her expression and asked aloud, "What's wrong? Who is it?" "My grandfather." Ningxi frowned. Didn't they agree last night? Did Grandpa change his mind again? Ningxi scratched her head and answered the phone worriedly. "Hello, Grandpa Xiaoxi. Let me ask you, are you hiding something from me?" On the other end of the phone, the old man asked directly without saying anything, and his tone was unusually serious. Ningxi paused. "Huh? No. What do you mean, Grandpa? It's about Shiqing." Hearing this name, Ningxi suddenly had a bad feeling. Did Shiqing say something in front of Grandpa? He didn't tell his family, as they had agreed. It can't be right. Shiqing didn't seem like that kind of person. "Grandfather, what's wrong with Mr. Shi? I really have no idea what you're talking about." On the other end of the line, the old master sounded very agitated. "You don't know? Then tell me, why is it that after meeting you yesterday, I want to become a monk today?" "Fuck! What did Grandpa Just say. Ningxi was shocked by the old man's words. Grandpa, what did you say? Become a monk? Chapter 594. She sure Qing is going to become a monk? Grandpa, are you sure? Grandpa, are you kidding me? Ningxi couldn't believe her grandpa's words at all. Hearing the conversation between Ningxi and her grandfather, Lu Tingxiao also showed a slightly surprised expression, and then his brows furrowed. He had thought that Shi Shurqing had been completely solved after last night, but he didn't expect such a thing to happen. On the other end of the phone, the old man said angrily, "You child, why would I lie to you? That kid from the Shi family is already at the temple. He's going to be shaved in the afternoon. It's absolutely true. How could I lie to you?" Hearing this, Ningxi was completely confused. She said bitterly, How could it be? Was there any other reason for this? Why do you have to say it's because of me? What other reason could it be? He was fine before he left. After he came back from dinner with you, he suddenly talked to his family and said that he was going to the temple to become a monk. You're the most suspicious. Grandpa Luo said earnestly, Cici, you must think carefully about what happened when you two were having dinner last night. It's not a small thing to become a monk. If it's related to you, how can I explain it to your grandpa Shi? The more Ningxi thought about it, the more guilty she felt. In fact, a lot of things had happened last night. Could it be that she had tried too hard to make Shi Shurqing give up last night? Damn it, no matter how hard she tried, she didn't have to become a monk, did she? Grandpa, where are you now? She seemed to hear some vague chanting on the other end of the phone. I'm at the Fahua Temple. Shurqing's grandpa and parents are there. Cici, come here first. I can't explain it over the phone. Okay, I see. Grandpa, don't worry. I'll be right there. After hanging up the phone, Ningxi gave Lu Tingxiao a complicated look. Alas, how could the devil be so powerful? Shi Shurqing is going to become a monk? Lu Tingxiao asked. Ningxi nodded. Yes, and it seems that I have to go to the Fahua Temple now because of me. I'll go with you. I'll forget it. What if he sees you and becomes even more irritated? Ningxi said with a bitter face. I'll only walk you to the temple gate. But you're going to work soon. I don't have anything to do in the morning, but I have a meeting. Jingli can host it for me, Lu Tingxiao said and called Lu Jingli. Lu Jingli's cheerful voice came from the other end of the phone. Hello, brother. Why are you calling me so early? TSK. Something's up. I won't be able to attend the meeting in the morning. You host it, Lu Tingxiao said calmly. Lu Jingli was excited. Oh, can't make it. What happened last night? Don't tell me you and Cici. Shi Shurqing is going to become a monk. I'll accompany Ningxi to the Fahua Temple. Lu Tingxiao interrupted Lu Jingli's train of thought. Uff. Lu Jingli, who was on the other end of the phone, choked. Become a monk? Brother, are you kidding me? After hanging up the phone, Lu Jingli still couldn't react. The development of this plot was too fantastical. Most importantly, how could he not be present at such an important moment? Lu Jingli decisively made a call to a department head and asked him to host a meeting. Then, he sneaked over to Fahua Temple. Chapter 595. Fahua Temple. Lu Tingxiao was waiting in the car with Xiao Bao. Ningxi quickly got out of the car and rushed to find her grandfather and the others. After bypassing the crowd that had come to offer incense early in the morning, Ningxi walked straight to the courtyard behind the main hall. After passing through a few corridors, she saw a familiar figure in a courtyard. Other than that, there was also Shi Boyi and a middle-aged man and woman. They should be Shi Shurqing's parents. Grandfather, little Shi, you're here. Come here quickly. Seeing that his granddaughter had arrived, Ningzon hurriedly stood up and pulled her over. Grandpa Shi, Uncle Andy. Ningxi greeted them one by one, feeling a little uneasy. When the three members of the Shi family saw Ningxi, they also went over excitedly. Mother Shi grabbed her hand as if she had seen her savior. Your little Shi? You really are a good child. No wonder our Qingqing has been praising you ever since you came back. Ningxi originally thought that Mother Shi would scold her, but she didn't expect him to praise her instead. She couldn't help but be stunned. Good child, don't be nervous. Your grandfather was too serious on the phone just now. We all know that this has nothing to do with you. Last night, Qingqing already told us that the two of you feel that each other's personalities are more suitable to be friends. Hearing this, Ningxi heaved a sigh of relief and guilt. She had actually suspected Xianxia before, but she didn't expect him to say anything after he returned and even speak up for her. Damn it, she really hoped that Xianxia was an ignorant and incompetent playboy. That way, it would be easier for her to deal with him. But, Mother, she pulled her eyes red as she continued. We didn't call you here for any other reason. It's just that we've thought about everything we can think of, but we don't know why Qingqing suddenly wants to become a monk. So we called you out with a last glimmer of hope. From Qingqing's tone last night, he seems to admire you a lot. If you guys talk like this, maybe he'll listen to your advice. Good child. Can you help Annie persuade Qingqing? Old master, she said from the side. What do you mean by very appreciative? I think this kid must have taken a fancy to Xiaoxi and liked this girl. That day, when I said that I arranged a blind date for him, he initially rejected me. But when I said that it was the young miss of the Ning family, he immediately asked me who it was. I said it was little Shi, and he immediately agreed. Then why did he say that Xiaoxi wasn't his type after he came back, and that she was more suitable to be his friend? Mrs. Shi was puzzled. At this time, Father Shi opened his mouth. It's not like you don't know your son's personality. He's so passive, doesn't fight for anything, and even likes Buddhism at such a young age, causing his personality to become even more indifferent. I think it's most likely that little Shi first expressed that she didn't have any feelings for him. So he directly hid his true thoughts. Before Ningxi could think of how to explain it to them, the elders had already imagined the general process. Although it was still different from reality, it was good to let them misunderstand like this. Otherwise, she wouldn't know what to say. Mother Shi listened to Father Shi's analysis and felt that it was possible. Could it be that Qingqing really can't think straight because of this? That's not possible, is it? Father Shi's face was solemn. Previously, when he was immersed in Buddhism, I was worried that this day would come. I should have stopped him from coming into contact with these messy hobbies. Chapter 596. Old man, she originally wanted to angrily rebuke. How can this be a messy hobby? But when he thought of his grandson's current situation, he could only remain silent. Although he believed in Buddhism, this did not mean that he could accept his grandson becoming a monk. From the conversation between Father Shi, Mother Shi, and Grandfather Shi, Ningxi knew why Xianxia was so good. These elders were all very gentle and considerate people. The moment they arrived, they first comforted her. Even now, they did not have a single word of doubt or blame her. They were all looking for the reason from her. It was precisely because of this that Ningxi felt even more guilty. The son that he had painstakingly raised had become a monk because of him. This was truly too sinful. Originally, she was still a little unsure, but after listening to their conversation just now, since they couldn't find any other reason, then it could only be because of what happened last night. At that time, Xianxia's expression. Indeed, something was wrong. How about this? I'm already here. Although I'm not confident, I'll try my best. Okay? Ningxi suggested. Hearing this, Mother Shi immediately had a face full of gratitude. Great. Little Shi, thank you so much. Father Shi's expression also relaxed a little. You don't have to feel pressured. This matter has nothing to do with you in the first place. Let's give it a try. Although the two of them were comforting Ningxi, it was obvious that they were still very nervous. After all, Ningxi was their only hope at this moment. Ningxi took a deep breath and walked towards the location of the meditation room that Mother Shi had told her about. Behind her, Ningxuan sighed. I hope that little Shi can persuade you. Actually, he didn't have much hope either, because the child seemed to be very determined this time. Even if it was really related to little Shi, he probably wouldn't be able to persuade her to change her mind. Ningxi finally found Xianxia's meditation room after many turns. Walking along a bluestone staircase to the end, he saw a quiet and secluded courtyard. There were a few plum blossoms in the courtyard, emitting a clear fragrance that refreshed one's heart, causing one to instantly relax. The door to the meditation room was open, and there was only a straw curtain gently swaying in the breeze, making a ta-ta-ta sound. Other than that, the air was completely quiet, without any sound. Compared to the outside world, it was like a different world. Xianxia walked up the steps and slowly walked to the door. She hesitated for a moment, then reached out and lifted the curtain. After lifting the curtain, the first thing that came into view was a window. Outside the window was a large bamboo forest, and inside the window was a screen filled with scriptures. Behind the screen, Xianxia was sitting quietly on a cattail hassock, holding a scroll of scriptures in his hand. His expression was devout and focused, or it could be said that he had a pure heart and few desires. Even though he was still wearing a secular suit, his temperament was completely that of a monk. Seeing Xianxia like that, Xianxia was shocked. In just one night, how did he suddenly change into a different person? Previously, although his temperament was very otherworldly, at least it was still very worldly. But now, it was as if he had completely seen through the mortal world. Xianxia suddenly had a headache. Xianxia's situation was more troublesome than she had imagined. No, she couldn't retreat. Damn it, she had to take responsibility for her own sins. Moreover, Father Xi, Mother Xi, and the old man were still waiting for her news. Chapter 597. Xianxia calmed herself down and walked in. Perhaps because he heard footsteps, Xianxia's hand that was holding the scripture paused, and then he slowly raised his head. Xianxia's eyes were as calm as an ancient well when he saw who it was. Benefactor Ning. Xianxia almost vomited blood when she heard that. Fuck, he even used the word benefactor. He was really going to become a monk. Xianxia pinched the space between her eyebrows and simply sat down cross-legged opposite Xianxia. Then she let out a long sigh and said, I say, big brother, why did you suddenly become a monk? What are you doing? Xianxia said, this is the result of my careful consideration. If Benefactor Ning is here to persuade me, you can leave now. Is it because of me? Xianxia asked straightforwardly. Xianxia said, everything comes from my heart. It has nothing to do with others. Xianxia took a deep breath. Then can I ask why you're doing this? Why? Even if it's because of what happened last night, even if you like me and find out that I already have someone I like, you don't have to be so stupid as to become a monk. This doesn't make sense. Xianxia said, everything is in the blink of an eye. One thought is heaven, one thought is hell, one thought is life, one thought is death. Xianxia was on the verge of tears. Almighty, can you say something human? She was so scared. Benefactor Ning, if you're feeling guilty, then you don't have to. This is my own decision, Xianxia said. What about your parents and your grandfather? You don't care? They raised you for so many years, and you're just going to become a monk? Everything has its own fate. My fate with them is over. They still have Xianxian. Xianxia recalled that Xianxia had told her that he had a younger brother. Damn it, he had already thought of everything. He was determined to become a monk, and it wasn't a joke. Almighty, Mr. Xianxia, please reconsider. It's not a small matter to become a monk. 3 days. Wait for another 3 days. It's not too late to make a decision after thinking about it. Xianxia tried to stall for time. I've already made up my mind. Benefactor, please return. From today onwards, Benefactor can call me by my name, Yuanqing. Xianxia began to send the guest off. Yuanqing, I'm fucking flexible. Xianxia, you're determined not to change your mind, aren't you? Xianxia's eyes were filled with fire. This guy obviously looked so easy to talk to, but why was he so stubborn? If he really forced her into a corner, she would just knock him out and bring him back. Xianxia's expression did not change in the slightest, like a monolith that had lived for many years. Xianxia talked for a long time, and her lips were almost sore, but she still couldn't persuade him until her grandfather called. Xianxia walked out and answered the phone. Hello, Grandpa. Xiaoxi, what took you so long? How did your conversation go? Xianxia's face darkened. I'm sorry, Grandpa. I've tried everything I could, but it seems to be useless. The old man on the other end of the phone let out a long sigh. Forget it. I already expected this result. Xiaoxi, come back. Ning, she gritted her teeth. No rush, Grandpa. Please wait a moment. Go find a place to rest and eat something. I want to try again. Sigh, you child. All right, don't force yourself. Wait, your uncle, she wants to talk to you. Chapter 598. On the other end of the phone, it was Father Xiaoxi come back. You don't understand my Shirqing. He looks soft, but as long as he has made a decision, he will never change his mind. No matter how much you try to persuade him, it's useless. That's right, Xiaoxi, don't make things difficult for yourself. We don't mean to blame you. This has nothing to do with you. Mother, she also tried to persuade her, afraid that the girl would mistakenly take the blame on herself. Uncle and Auntie, I understand. I won't turn back until I hit the south wall. Just let me try again. A moment later, Ning, she hung up the phone, the expression on her face changing rapidly. Knocking him unconscious and taking him away was the worst plan. If Shirqing did not change his mind, he would run out again even if he brought him back. So what should he do? At the same time, under a big tree not far from the temple, a black car was quietly parked. Inside the car, Lu Tingxiao looked at the time on his phone and frowned slightly. Damn it, it's been so long. Why hasn't sister-in-law come out yet? Lu Jingli had already run over to meet up with his brother. Lu Tingxiao opened the car door and walked out. He lit a cigarette and was obviously in a bad mood. Lu Jingli scratched his head and followed out. It's not a good idea to just wait. Why don't we go in and take a look? I can't go. Okay. You don't seem to be the right person to go. I don't want little Cece to become a nun because of your provocation after persuading her to go back. Lu Jingli muttered, then said, Then I'll go. I'll secretly go and find out what's going on. If the Shi family puts pressure on sister-in-law, she will have no choice but to compromise and tell the truth about last night. For example, giving Shirqing a chance and agreeing to date him or something. That would be terrible. Lu Tingxiao's eyes darkened. This was what he was most worried about. Moreover, with Ning Shi's personality, if the Shi family tried to be soft, she would most likely try to persuade Shirqing back at all costs. Brother, I'll go. If anything happens, I'll inform you immediately. I'll stop sister-in-law at the critical moment. Seeing that Lu Tingxiao didn't say anything, it was a tacit agreement. Lu Jingli immediately ran in. In the car, Xiao Bao popped his head out of the window and raised the writing board. Daddy, do you need Xiao Bao's help? It seemed that after last night, the little guy was completely willing to cooperate. Lu Tingxiao looked at his son gently. Thank you, but you can't help me with this. Little Bun hung his head in disappointment. Outside the meditation room, Ning, she walked in again. At the same time, Lu Jingli had also found out where Shirqing lived and quickly rushed over. Shirqing saw that Ning she had returned, but there was still no expression on his face. It was as if the only thing left in his world was the scripture in front of him, and the only thing left in his heart was Buddha, wholeheartedly devoted to Buddhism. Ning she walked straight to Shirqing and took away the scripture in his hand. Shirqing, who had his scripture taken away, was not angry. He was as calm as ever. Ning she casually threw away the scripture in her hand, and then suddenly approached Shirqing. One of her knees pressed against his side, and the other hand was placed on the tea table beside him. Her face was extremely close, almost at a distance where they could hear each other's breath. Shirqing's thin brows furrowed imperceptibly. Just as he was about to say something, Ning she didn't give him a chance to speak. She directly pressed his shoulders and pressed him under her body. At the same time, her body was on top of his. Chapter 599. Outside the meditation room, Lu Jingli just peeped in through the window and saw such a shocking scene. Sister-in-law actually threw herself at Shirqing, threw herself at him. In an instant, Lu Jingli was so scared that he almost lost his soul. Fuck! He had said that he would report to his brother as soon as possible. How could he tell his brother about this situation? This was going to kill him. What should he do? Should he rush and stop it now? Oh, the pure and unrestrained Xianxia and the wild and unruly Ningxi. The classic combination of an eminent monk and an enchantress. He suddenly felt that they were a strange match. Damn it. If his brother knew that he had this kind of idea, he would definitely die without a burial place. Not only did Ningxi throw herself at Xianxia, but she also moved her warm and delicate fingers from his eyebrows to his lips and slowly and painfully approached him. At this moment, Xianxia was like a pool of stagnant water that suddenly encounters storm. His whole body was as tense as a bow that was pulled to the extreme. His slender fingers were clenched tightly, and his breathing was completely out of rhythm. Seeing that Ningxi's lips were about to fall, he closed his eyes in fright and slightly turned his head away. His ears were almost bleeding. However, just when he was shocked, he heard an extremely cold voice in his ears. The fate of the mortal world is not ended. The six senses are not pure. Xianxia, what kind of a monk are you? What kind of monk are you? What kind of monk are you? Aren't you afraid of tarnishing the holy land of Buddhism? As soon as the voice fell, the boiling blood in Xianxia's body suddenly cooled down, and his face was as pale as paper. Outside the window, Lu Jingli's eyes were full of stars. Damn it, sister-in-law is so handsome. It's really an unexpected turn of events. Fortunately, he didn't rush in impulsively, or he would have ruined sister-in-law's plan. Xianxia opened his mouth and wanted to say something, but in the end, he didn't say a word. Even when debating with Master Xianjing about Buddhism, he had never lost. But at this moment, he was speechless, because he couldn't control his own heart, his own emotions, and his own desires. Seeing that Xianxia didn't speak, Ningxi narrowed her eyes. What? Still don't admit it? Shall I continue? No, there's no need. Xianxia's eyes flashed with a trace of panic, and his face was full of bitterness. You're right. I'm indeed impure. Only then did Ningxi get up. She reached out to Xianxia and pulled him up. Although he knew that his method might be a little cruel, he could only use a strong medicine to deal with Xianxia's situation. At this moment, Xianxia's face was no longer as calm as before. He didn't know how to describe his current feelings. No one understood, including Ningxi. She didn't understand why he made such a decision. He had waited for 5 whole years, and suddenly, such an opportunity was placed in front of him. However, before he could properly appreciate it, it immediately burst into bubbles. If there was no hope at all, perhaps he wouldn't be in such despair. He could still remember the tearing pain in his heart when he saw them kissing. At that moment, he remembered that this man was the president of the Lu Group, Lu Tingxiao. Although he had only seen her once at the Treasure Jade Pavilion's ribbon-cutting ceremony, there was no way he would mistake her for someone else. If it was anyone else, he might have a chance to compete. However, it was Lu Tingxiao. In this battle, he had already suffered a crushing defeat before it even started. Chapter 600. His family was well off, and his life had been smooth sailing since he was a child. There were no twists and turns in his life, and he didn't have anything in particular that he wanted. As long as he wanted something, he could easily get it. As a result, he developed a temperament of being indifferent to anything. Life seemed to be dispensable to him. He existed in this world as an outsider, until Ningxi appeared, and again 5 years later, she completely broke the barrier between him and the world, giving him what he wanted for the first time. It was precisely because it was too precious that he was so desperate when he lost it. He thought that he had nothing else to ask for in this life. When he came to find Master Xianjing and asked him to accept him, even Master Xianjing agreed to help him shave his head, because at that time his state of mind was really empty. But now, just because of a small action of hers, he was pulled back to this mortal world. Perhaps she was really his predestined fate. There was a hint of compromise on Xianxia's face. Looking at Xianxia's expression, Ningxi secretly heaved a sigh of relief. She knew that she had succeeded. Are you going home? Ningxi looked at him. I need to go and tell Master Xianjing. Hearing that, Ningxi immediately became alarmed. Then I'll go with you. It wasn't easy for her to pull him back. If he chatted with Master Xianjing for a while and was sent back, who could she cry to? Qing wanted to say no, but looking at her bright eyes, he knew what she was worried about, so he could only let her be. In the main hall, Master Xianjing didn't seem to be surprised by Qing's arrival. However, when he looked at Ningxi behind him, his gaze changed slightly. Abbot, I'm sorry. My fate in the mortal world is not settled, and my state of mind is unstable. I feel that I'm not qualified to become a Buddhist. At this moment in front of the Reverend, she actually felt a little guilty. After all, in this matter, she had played some clever tricks. Not to mention that Qing was not a monk. Even if he was a real monk, at the age of youth and vigor, with an unstable state of mind, there were not many who could resist this kind of seduction. Fortunately, Xianjing didn't pursue the matter further, nor did he force her. Everything has its own fate. Go ahead. At this moment, Ningxi looked at the old monk in front of her, who looked very profound and was quite curious. This is the legendary great Master Xianjing, the one who consecrated the jade beads bracelet? TSK. It wasn't easy to see the real person. It would be great if he could tell his fortune or something. Ugh, forget it. Asking a master of this level to test his luck was no different from asking a main account with a full set of godly equipment to kill monsters in the novice village. Right at this moment, Xianjing actually took the initiative to speak. Female benefactor, do you need something? Me? Since Xianjing had taken the initiative to ask, she had to be thick-skinned. At most, she would be rejected. Master, you're really perceptive. It's a little. Well, I've been feeling a little uneasy recently. I wonder if you can give me some advice? Hearing this, Xianjing's bright eyes sized her up a few times. Then, she whispered a few words to the little monk beside her. In a flash, the little monk brought a pen and paper. Then, he saw Xianjing writing on the paper with a brush. After writing, Ningxi picked up the paper and looked at it. She was stunned. The master wasn't writing just now, but drawing a flower? What does this mean? Chapter 601. Ningxi originally wanted to ask clearly, but at this moment, a little monk ran over and reminded her that the Xianjing Dharma assembly was about to begin. Xianjing didn't seem to have any intention of explaining and directly bid farewell to her and Qing before leaving. Ningxi could only turn to Qing with a dumbfounded expression. Mr. Shi, you understand the master better. What do you think he meant by drawing a flower for me? Qing picked up the piece of paper and looked at it carefully for a while, but he still had no clue. I can't guess the abbot's thoughts either. After Qing finished speaking, he looked at her in surprise. There are a lot of people who ask the master similar questions every day. Every time, the master would at most say that everything has its own fate. I didn't expect that he would personally give you a bet this time. The corner of Ningxi's mouth twitched, and she muttered softly, hearing you say that, although I'm quite honored, but this flower, isn't it too mysterious? Forget it. I'll think about it slowly when I get back. When he left the hall, Qing turned around and looked at the Buddha statue in the middle of the hall for a long time. Ningxi put her hand on his shoulder and turned him around, not allowing him to look anymore. Hey, stop looking. What's so good about being a monk? Chanting sutras all day, you can't drink or eat meat, and you can't get a wife. I'll treat you to a drink some other day and cook a meat feast for you. I guarantee that you won't want to become a monk anymore. Tell me, what's the difference between a life that can't flirt with girls and a salted fish? Ningxi racked her brains to talk about the benefits of not becoming a monk. Qing finally stopped looking at the Buddha statue and looked at her instead. His clear eyes were empty, except for her reflection. After tossing and turning for half a day, Ningxi finally did not disappoint and brought Qing back. At that time, Mother Shi was silently weeping in the pavilion. She no longer had any hope that her son would change his mind. Father, she also had a worried look on his face. Although old man, she did not say anything. The pressure was the greatest. After all, his grandson liked Buddhism, and it was also because of his subtle influence. Why is it taking so long? Old man Ning stuck his head out and looked at it uneasily for a long time. Old man, she sighed. Old Ning, call little she back. We'll think of another way. What can you think of in such a short period of time? Mother, she looked at the time. There's still half an hour before Ching goes to cut her hair. With that, her tears fell even more fiercely. If my Ching really becomes a monk, I'll follow her and become a nun. Hearing that, Father, she panicked and said with a face full of panic, What nonsense are you saying? This is simply nonsense. How am I fooling around? My son has already become a monk. What's there for me to miss? Then you don't care about Xian and me? The family was in a gloomy mood when they suddenly saw a person walking towards them from the end of the corridor. Ning, she was back. Just as Mrs. She was about to comfort Ning, and tell her not to mind, she saw a familiar figure following closely behind Ning, in the next second. It was her precious son. Mama Ning's expression changed to one of surprise. Ching, she stammered. Sure, Ching. Mrs. Grandpa and Old Man Ning were both surprised and happy to see Ching. However, he couldn't help but feel nervous. Could it be that he had come to meet them one last time before he lost his hair? Until Ching walked in front of them and called out one by one, Dad, Mom, Grandfather Ning. It was no longer this benefactor, that benefactor. Chapter 602. This meant that he had changed his mind and was not going to become a monk anymore. Mother, Shi's eyes reddened. She could no longer hold it in and hugged her son as she burst into tears. Ching, you scared your mother to death. Father, she also had a look of relief. Xiaoxi, thank you. Thank you. If it wasn't for Ning, his wife and son would have gone to become monks. Girl, how did you persuade Ching? Old Master Shi's face was also full of excitement. That's right, Xiaoxi, and he really doesn't know how to thank you. Ning, she naturally couldn't tell them how she had persuaded them, so she hurriedly waved her hand and said, Cough, Uncle, Auntie, Grandpa, actually I didn't do anything. When I went, Mr. She had already been persuaded by you guys. I just picked up a ready-made credit. Child, you're too modest. Mother, she looked at the girl in front of her. Her eyes were clear and clean, and her clothes were simple and elegant. The more she looked at her, the more she liked her. Moreover, her son couldn't be persuaded by anyone, but this girl moved the moment she went. She was even more certain that her son's feelings for this girl were not ordinary. If she could bring this couple together, then she wouldn't have to worry about her son thinking about becoming a monk anymore. Xiaoxi, come to our house for dinner tonight. No matter what, I have to thank you properly this time. Old Master, she also nodded. That's for sure. Seeing the attitude of the Shi family, Old Master Ning naturally knew what they were thinking and was naturally happy to see it succeed. At the same time, in the black car outside the temple. Brother, I'm back. Don't worry, sister-in-law is mighty and domineering. She has already settled everything, and she escaped unscathed. Lu Jingli deliberately used a relaxed tone to report to his brother. However, who was Lu Tingxiao? When his bottomless eyes swept over, Lu Jingli shivered inexplicably. What's wrong, brother? He really had to hold on to not stutter. Lu Tingxiao narrowed his eyes, as if his gaze could penetrate the soul, and said faintly, Escaped unscathed? Yeah. What's wrong? Lu Jingli had an innocent expression. Tell the truth. The aura around Lu Tingxiao suddenly sank. Lu Jingli blinked his peach blossom eyes and said with an incomparably sincere expression, Brother, I'm telling the truth. Sister-in-law did not agree to any of Shishurching's outrageous requests, nor did she tell the truth about last night. Isn't it just escaping unscathed? How could he be courting death? Ningxi's method might look smart to outsiders, but to Lu Tingxiao, it was definitely the ninth heaven's thunder that could destroy a city. The most tragic thing was that he was too stunned to stop it in time. Just one was enough to kill him 100 times over. Don't make me repeat myself. The moment Lu Tingxiao's voice fell, the air pressure around them dropped to the extreme, as if a tornado had descended upon them. Initially, he didn't want to delve too deeply into it, but he knew Lu Jingli too well. The calmer he appeared, the more serious the matter was, and it wasn't a small matter. Lu Jingli had seen Lu Tingxiao in this state many years ago. That was when Lu Tingxiao was disciplining the family and interrogating the traitor. That aura had scared the traitor so much that he had wet his pants on the spot. Lu Jingli's little heart trembled as he cursed in his heart. Fuck you. I'm your biological brother, and you're using the same method you used to coerce prisoners to deal with me. Where was humanity? Chapter 603. Forget it. Since his sister-in-law appeared, he didn't have this thing anymore. Just as Lu Jingli was silently cursing, Lu Tingxiao's aura had already covered the sky and covered the earth. And it was only aimed at Lu Jingli and avoided Xiaobao, who was busy painting. Facing his brother's cold eyes, Lu Jingli's scalp was numb and his calves and belly were shaking more and more violently. Damn it. I can't take it anymore. I can't take it anymore. In fact, my sister-in-law didn't do anything. She just pushed Shi Shiqing down and flirted with him. Of course, Shi Shiqing couldn't take it anymore. His face was so red that it looked like blood was dripping from his face. Then my sister-in-law took the opportunity to provoke him, saying that his 6 senses were impure and that he didn't deserve to be a monk. Lu Jingli confessed quickly. If Demon King Lu really knew magic, then the windows would have been shattered and not a single blade of grass would have grown within 100 miles. Lu Jingli was so scared that his heart almost stopped. He silently hugged Xiaobao, who was the only one outside the storm circle to seek shelter. Xiaobao was concentrating on painting and didn't hear what Lu Jingli said. Seeing his uncle suddenly hugging him, he frowned and wrote a line of words on the writing board. Only for Aunt Xiaoxi, it meant, this baby belonged to Aunt Xiaoxi. You can't hug me casually. Lu Jingli looked at the line of words and was speechless. Ouch. Why is the whole world hurting me? As for Ning Shi, because Lu Tingxiao and the others were still waiting, she declined the Shi family's invitation to dinner. However, because of their kindness, she promised to go over next time when she had time. I'm back. It's all done. Let's go. As soon as Ning Shi opened the car door, Lu Jingli, who was threatened by his brother and despised by Xiaobao, immediately pounced on her with a howl. Sister-in-law, they bullied me. Haha, sister-in-law. It seems that if I don't beat you up, you'll never learn your lesson. Ning Shi cracked her knuckles gloomily. Lu Jingli was greatly shocked, and his face was full of despair. In this ruthless world, I'll become a monk. Ning Shi ignored him. She took out the flower that Master Xianjing had drawn for her and looked at it. Lu Jingli's attention was immediately attracted by the thing in Ning Shi's hand, and he said vigilantly, Sister-in-law, Brother Shi, what is this? A flower. Did Tang Shiqing give it to you? What nonsense are you talking about? These words were written by Master Xianjing. Huh, but it's clearly a flower. Lu Jingli showed that he had good eyesight. Ning Shi looked at the flower over and over several times, but couldn't find anything. She said, Alas, a master is a master. I don't know what it means at all. With that, his eyes lit up, and he hurriedly leaned over to the driver's seat. Mr. Boss, you're so knowledgeable. You must know something. Can you help me take a look? The girl's head came up to his ear, and her warm breath lingered in his ear. The chill around Lu Tingxiao was slightly reduced. He took the paper handed over by Ning Shi and glanced at it. After a while, he frowned and asked, Why did the abbot write for you? Ning Shi scratched her head and said, I just asked him casually that I've been feeling uneasy recently. Could he give me some hints or something? Then he drew a flower for me. He didn't say anything. Well, he couldn't have praised me for my beauty, could he? The meaning of his flower was really too hard to guess. Lu Tingxiao couldn't think of what it meant at the moment. Chapter 604. At this moment, Lu Jingli poked his head over and said with a strange expression, "Is it that hard to understand? Master Xianjing's meaning is so obvious." Obvious? How is it obvious? Ningxi was a little speechless. Sure enough, Lu Jingli's brain circuit was not the same as that of ordinary people. Lu Jingli blinked. Take a look for yourself. The question you asked was probably about good or bad luck or calamity. Master Xianjing drew a peach blossom. Isn't this obviously reminding you that you will have a peach blossom calamity recently? Ningxi, peach, flower, tribulation, Lu Tingxiao. Lu Jingli looked innocent. What did I say wrong? Ningxi's face darkened. What you said makes sense. She couldn't refute it. Moreover, the more she thought about it, the more it made sense. Recently, she really had signs of a love calamity. Not only Ningxi, but even Lu Tingxiao thought it made sense. Ningxi grabbed her hair bitterly. Damn it. No way. What should I do? The great master didn't tell me how to break it. Should I go back and ask? Do you still need to ask the great master? You could have just asked me. Of course, the solution is to find someone to marry. That way, there won't be any peach blossoms. Lu Jingli had a matter-of-fact expression on his face as he stared at his brother's cold profile and said meaningfully, "This is the legendary 100 flowers kill after my flower blooms." Ningxi's face darkened. Marriage, damn it, isn't it impossible? Bah, Lu Jingli, I'm actually listening to your nonsense. Who said it has to be a romantic tribulation? This is obviously a peach blossom painting. If it's not a peach blossom calamity, then what is it? Ningxi glared at him. Can it be luck with the opposite sex? Lu Jingli laughed dryly and muttered, "If it's your luck with women, then it's my brother's misfortune. It's a life and death tribulation." At this time, Ningxi's phone rang with a ding-dong sound, indicating that there was a new message. Ningxi was still wondering what the flower meant. She absent-mindedly picked up her phone and glanced at it. However, after a glance, his soul was destroyed. Little Cece, what's wrong with you? What did you see that made you so scared?" Lu Jingli asked weakly. At this moment, Ningxi's face was really too frightening. Her little face was deathly pale, as if she had seen a ghost. Lu Tingxiao also looked over with a frown. Ningxi held her forehead, which was slightly dizzy from the stimulation. She wanted to kill Lu Jingli with her head. What a jinx! I'm afraid I'm really in for a romantic disaster. After a while, Ningxi regained her composure and turned to Lu Tingxiao. Boss, I have something urgent to deal with. I may not be back tonight. Can you take Xiao Bao with you tonight? When are you coming back? Lu Tingxiao asked. Ningxi was stunned. I'm not sure. If it's fast, it'll be tomorrow morning. If it's late, it might be the day after tomorrow. Anyway, I'll call you immediately when it's over. After saying that, she held Xiao Bao in her arms and hugged him tightly. Baby, I have to leave for a while. Listen to Papa. Lu Tingxiao looked at the girl, and a cold light flashed in his eyes. I'll send you off. No need. I'll go by myself. Ningxi was obviously unwilling to say more. She hurriedly got out of the car and looked panicked that she had never seen before. Lu Tingxiao's eyes darkened as he watched Ningxi hurriedly take a taxi and leave. Chapter 605. What on earth did that message say? I've never seen her so afraid of anything. Is she in danger? Lu Jingli sighed. It's a pity that I didn't peep at her just now. As soon as he said that, Xiao Baozi pricked up his ears and wrote on the writing board. Danger? Lu Jingli rolled his eyes. Xiao Bao, did you see what was written in the message that Aunt Xiaoxi received just now? If you know it, you must tell Dad and second uncle, because it's really important. I'm afraid that your Aunt Xiaoxi will really be in danger. Xiao Bao looked at Lu Tingxiao with uncertainty. Lu Tingxiao nodded. This time Lu Jingli was not talking nonsense. Ningxi's expression was really strange when she left just now. Knowing that Aunt Xiaoxi might be in danger, Xiao Bao immediately buried his head and began to write. Lu Tingxiao and Lu Jingli both looked at him nervously. Xiao Bao soon completely restored the content of the message. See you on the roof tonight. Eldest brother, Lu Tingxiao and Lu Jingli changed their faces at the same time after reading the content on Xiao Bao's writing board. Shit, what the hell is eldest brother? He even asked her to meet him on the roof tonight. Shit, is it really a love affair or something? No, if so, Ning, she doesn't have to go there. Why is she in such a hurry? The more Lu Jingli thought about it, the more he felt something was wrong. As he was muttering suspiciously, he looked up and saw his brother's face reflected in the rearview mirror. It was terrifying to the extreme. For example, when he heard that Ning Shi used honey trap on Shi Shiqing, it was 1,000 times scarier. Brother, what's wrong? What's wrong? Lu Jingli was a little scared looking at Lu Tingxiao's expression. Lu Tingxiao didn't speak, but made a phone call. Lu Jingli was shocked when he saw the number. Shit, why did his brother contact the genie guard? Was Ning Shi really in danger? It seemed that there was only one possibility, that eldest brother's identity was not simple. Was it related to the person they had been investigating recently? Then Lu Tingxiao made a second call, and soon the housekeeper rushed over and took Xiao Bao away. As soon as Xiao Bao was caught up in the rhythm, Lu Tingxiao immediately stepped on the accelerator, and the car shot out like an arrow. Lu Jingli, who was sitting in the back, almost vomited. Ugh, brother, your biological brother is still in the car. At that time, Ningxi had already rushed back to Pearl River Imperial View as fast as she could. When he arrived, he didn't even go home. He took the elevator to the top floor, climbed up the ladder, pushed open the dusty skylight, and went up to the top floor. Tanya's message only gave a vague time. She didn't know what time it was tonight. In order to be safe, Ningxi rushed over early, then sat on the ground and began to rack her brains to think. The more she thought, the more uneasy she became. Eldest senior brother actually came to look for her. The eldest senior brother, who was in charge of the organization and rarely left, actually came to the country to look for her. This alone was enough to terrify Ning Shi. What did eldest senior brother do when he came to the country last time? That's right, it seems like I'm here to perform an S-class mission. Then what about this time? Why'd he come all the way here? Ning Shi's wait lasted from sunset until the lanterns were lit. The balcony was silent. There was no movement at all. Ning Shi almost suspected that this was a prank. Unfortunately, if this message was sent by second senior brother, it might be a prank. But eldest senior brother, it was impossible. He would really come. Chapter 606. At the same time, in an open corner of Ning Shi's building, a black Maybach was parked quietly. Not far away, a small group of armed forces was hidden, waiting for orders at any time. Night gradually fell, and the air seemed to have solidified. Everyone's heart tightened. In the dark, Chung Feng's phone suddenly rang. He was carrying out an important mission and did not want to pick it up. However, when he saw the caller, he picked it up in the end. Hello, what's up? Brother phone. Why didn't you call me when you had quest? The one who spoke was Shi Xiao. Then, Xianxia's voice came from the other end of the phone. Me too, me too. It was obvious that the two of them were together. Chung Feng pinched the space between his eyebrows. This mission is related to Miss Ning. Are you sure you want to participate? The other end of the phone was silent for a long time. Yes. After a short moment, Shi Xiao and Xianxia spoke in unison. Chung Feng raised his eyebrows slightly. It's good that you guys can understand. However, it's a pity that due to your previous performance, it's impossible for the boss to let you guys participate in this kind of mission again. Then what should we do? Shi Xiao's tone was tense. Damn it, protect the lady boss. Is there a mission more important than this? In the end, they were excluded. How was this any different from being banished to the Cold Palace? When Chung Feng heard this, he sighed. Back then, he knew that this kid would definitely regret it one day. Brother Feng, help us plead with the boss. Xianxia said. Chung Feng said helplessly, I don't have that ability. but I can give you a clear path. If you want to find someone to plead for you, then go find Miss Ning for help." Sure, Xiao hesitated. "Will that work? She can't possibly help us, right? Xianxia is fine, especially me." He had really offended the lady boss last time. Miss Ning is actually a good person. Her heart is very soft. You guys talk to her properly. She will agree. I still have things to do here. I can't say much. That's all. Chung Feng was afraid that he would be distracted and affect tonight's mission, so he hurriedly hung up the phone. He didn't want to follow in the footsteps of Shi, Xiao, and Xianxia. He didn't know what happened tonight to make their boss so nervous. Meanwhile, in Lu Tingxiao's car, the screen in the middle was showing the situation on the top floor in real time. Because it was infrared monitoring, they could see at night. Except that the light was slightly dim, they could see that Ning, she was lying on the balcony with a tense expression. Her long hair was flying in the night wind, and the expression on her face was unprecedentedly fierce. For a moment, it gave people a strange feeling. Another 2 hours passed, and there was only half an hour left before midnight. The content of the message was tonight, so the person they were waiting for should be here soon, right? If the other party really did come, on the roof, Ning, she was on the verge of cursing. Fuck, this was simply asking for his life. Can't you give me a specific time? Don't you know how ungentlemanly it is to make a girl wait? Ugh. All right, to these guys, they had never treated her as a woman. The worst part was that even though eldest senior brother could contact her, she couldn't contact him. She couldn't even ask him about it. Eldest senior brother's number was even more mysterious than a certain animal. It was always one-way communication. He couldn't call him, and he couldn't receive any text messages. Chapter 607. Time ticked by, and Ning, she had lost count of the number of times she had checked the time. She looked down, and it was 23:59. 53? Fuck. Could it be that he had been stood up? There were only 7 seconds left until tomorrow. Even if he sprinted all the way here, he would not make in time. Eldest senior brother was the most punctual person. Tick-tock, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Just as the clock was about to hit 00, 00, there was a sudden rumbling sound above her head. At the same time, there was a whirlwind that swirled up the dust. Ningxi's first reaction was, fuck, I'm wearing a dress today. Ningxi stretched out her hand to block her dress that was fluttering in the wind. She squinted her eyes and looked up. A helicopter suddenly descended from the sky and then landed directly on the opposite side about 10 steps away from her. Ning, she was speechless. He was indeed eldest senior brother. He was really punctual. Downstairs, Lu Jingli's eyes widened in the black Maybach. Fuck, I've been staring downstairs all this time, and now he's coming from the sky. Lu Tingxiao calmly picked up the wireless walkie-talkie and gave an order for the people around him to get ready. On the roof, the helicopter's wings spun for a while before it gradually came to a stop. The air was silent again, and the dust had settled. Ning, she also put down her dress. There was a bright light on the helicopter opposite her, and it was so bright that she could barely open her eyes. She could only vaguely see a tall figure getting off the helicopter against the light and then walking towards her step by step. Although it was only 10 steps away, every step felt like it was crushing her heart, making her tremble with fear. She could not guess eldest senior brother's intentions at all. It was precisely because she did not know that she was afraid. She only needed to know one thing. As long as Tang Yu was personally involved, it definitely meant that the situation was extremely serious and troublesome. Ningxi's gaze became sharper and sharper. She tried her best to prepare for everything and even prepare for the worst. When she left the organization, she had actually sneaked away, and the consequences of leaving the organization without permission. Finally, the man was only 5 steps away from her. Because she was close, Ningxi finally saw the man's face clearly. The man was wearing a pair of iconic gold-rimmed glasses, looking gentle and refined. However, if you were deceived by such an illusion and thought that he was a weak scholar, then the price would definitely be heavy. Ningxi was so scared that her legs were trembling just by looking at those glasses. This time it was really over. Eldest senior brother wouldn't be here to clean up the sect, right? She had been busy filming for the past year and hadn't had the chance to practice her skills properly. Previously, she had only been able to last 100 moves against her third senior sister, Feng Xiaoxiao. That wasn't right. Her martial arts skills were the worst in the sect. Even if she practiced, she wouldn't be able to match up to eldest senior brother's finger. The difference in martial strength was too great. 5 steps, 4 steps, 3 steps. Ning, she was already considering whether to escape immediately or kneel down and beg for mercy. Which option was more likely to survive? Finally, while she was hesitating, Tang Yi was already standing in front of her. She had lost her chance to escape, and the only way left was to kneel down and beg for mercy. In front of her, Tang Yi's glasses reflected a white light under the lights. Little junior sister, long time no see. Chapter 608. It was the long-lost clear and melodious voice, like pearls falling on a jade plate. Ning, she felt as if she had heard the voice of hell. In the end, Ning, she took a deep breath and chose to face it. She couldn't calm down, so she armed herself with acting skills and put on a calm expression. It's been a long time. I wonder why eldest senior brother has come in person this time. Hearing Ning Shi's question, Tang Yi seemed to have thought of something and his face darkened. Noticing the subtle change in Tang Yi's expression, Ning Shi was more certain of her guess. After a brief silence, Tang Yi enunciated each word clearly, S-rank mission. Ning Shi's face instantly turned pale. Sure enough, I'm afraid I'm going to lose my life today. If it was a year ago, life and death really didn't matter to her. Even if she was surrounded by beautiful women and died the next moment, she wouldn't have any regrets. But now, she had dreams, she had a career, she had friends, she had Xiao Bao, and Lu Tingxiao. She didn't want to die. Especially when she thought of Xiao Bao, who was still waiting for her to come home. A strong desire to live rose in her heart. Eldest senior brother, we're from the same sect. Are you really going to kill me? Ning, she tried to move him with emotion. Tang Yi raised his eyebrows imperceptibly, but soon returned to his usual coldness. He didn't speak, but raised his hand. Ning Shi's whole body tensed up. After Tang Yi raised his hand, 2 people behind him came down from the helicopter one after another. Ning Shi's brows knitted tighter and tighter. What's going on? Did that beast overestimate her? She was just a good-for-nothing. Not only did he send eldest senior brother to deal with her, but he also sent helpers to deal with her. Ning Shi's forehead was dripping with cold sweat. She already knew it was useless to talk about the past with Tang Yi. The next second, she already had a plan in mind. Even if the possibility of failure was very high at this distance, she had to at least try. While Tang Yi turned his head to look at the 2 people behind him, Ning Shi's body moved quickly, and she rushed towards the exit like a bolt of lightning. However, before she could even take 3 steps, she suddenly felt something tighten around her waist. It was actually a rope that had strangled her waist. Then, with a forceful pull, her entire body was pulled back the way she came. Moreover, her body spun a few rounds under the force of the rope, and she was tightly tied up. Eldest senior brother was getting better and better at tying people up. At the same time, downstairs, Lu Tingxiao was staring at the scene on the monitor. His finger was already pressed on the switch of the communicator, ready to give the order. Lu Jingli beside him also had a cold look on his face. This man, he came with bad intentions. Although he was wearing glasses and looked gentle, he was definitely not a good person. Ning Shi stared at the other end of the rope in Tang Ye's hand, her face full of self-deprecation. Oh, eldest senior brother, you think too highly of me, right? It's just a small fry like me. Yet you actually issued an S-rank mission and even asked you to do it yourself. Isn't that a waste of resources? One of the 2 people next to him was holding a large rectangular box in his hand, and the other was holding a small square box the size of a palm. Of the 2 people beside him, one was holding a large rectangular box, and the other was holding a small square box the size of a palm. Tang Yi straightened his sleeves, then opened the 2 boxes one by one, as if he was checking them. Chapter 609. As the light behind them was too bright, Ning, she couldn't see what was in the two boxes. Her mind was filled with thoughts of knives, spears, rods, poisons, white silk, and so on. Finally, Tang Yi picked up the small box after examining it for a while. Then he took out something from the big box and walked towards her. Although Ning, she wasn't good at fighting, she was still very good at escaping. When Tang Yi walked towards her, she was already untying the rope behind her back. Just as she was about to succeed, Ning, she suddenly froze. Because she saw clearly that what Tang Yi was holding in his arms wasn't a big knife, a spear, a rod, or an axe. It was a big bouquet of fiery red roses. The roses were delicate and beautiful, as if they had just been plucked from the branches. Ning, she blinked her eyes, then blinked her eyes again, thinking that she was dazzled by the bright light. Could this be Grand Senior Brother's new weapon? Master once said that when one reached the highest level of martial arts, they wouldn't need any weapons. Even a willow branch, a leaf, or a petal could kill without leaving a trace. It's only been a year, and Grand Senior Brother's skills have already reached such a level? That's terrifying. Grand Senior Brother, since when did you reach the level where you can fly flowers and move leaves? At this moment, Ningxi's heart was filled with despair. She had completely given up on resisting. In the face of an absolute powerhouse, all skills were useless. At this moment, she could only wait for death. Finally, Tang Yi moved. He slowly bent down and lowered his body. Then, he knelt down on one knee. She looked at Tang Yi, who had suddenly knelt down in front of her. He was even holding a bouquet of red roses in his arms. It was a strange scene. Ningxi's face was densely packed with question marks. Grand Senior Brother, is this a new technique that you've come up with? It's quite strange. Grand Senior Brother, calm down. Let's talk this out, all right? What do I have to do to make you spare my life? Master, Second Senior Brother, and Third Senior Sister dote on me so much. If they find out that you killed me, they'll never let you off. Ningxi was already at a loss for words. Tang Yi glanced at her and opened the small box with his slender fingers as she continued to ramble on. Suddenly, a huge diamond ring appeared in the box. Under the reflection of the light, it almost blinded her eyes. Ning, she closed her eyes. Fuck, what kind of new weapon is this? Tang Yi, marry me. Ningxi, in this second, it was as if even the air had stopped flowing. Ningxi's inner world swayed and shattered because of the destructive impact. Her worldview was about to shatter. Of course, she was not alone. Downstairs, Lu Tingxiao had already pressed the button on the communicator. The next second, he suddenly saw the man on the screen kneeling on one knee in front of Ningxi, and then he could clearly see that he said 3 words, marry me. Lu Tingxiao, Lu Jingli couldn't calm down for a long time. His expression was lifeless. Ever since I met sister-in-law, I feel that my worldview is being refreshed and reshaped every day. It's so exciting. Boss, please instruct me. Boss. His subordinate's anxious voice came through the communicator. However, Lord Boss didn't know what was going on and didn't respond. Chapter 610. Ning, she looked at Tang Yi, who was kneeling on one knee in front of her. Eldest Senior Brother, did you go berserk during your cultivation? Every hair on her body and every cell in her body was in disbelief. However, the truth was right in front of her. Eldest Senior Brother was proposing to her. To her, this was even more terrifying than Eldest Senior Brother wanting to kill her. Tang Yi acted as though he did not see Ningxi's horrified expression. He maintained his expressionless face. I'm willing to let you take my heart and everything I have. I only ask that you leave me a pair of eyes so that I can see you. There's nothing in me that you haven't conquered. If you take its life, you'll take its death with you. If I need to lose anything, I hope that you'll take me with you. I only ask that you leave me a pair of eyes so that I can see you. Ningxi. Something was wrong. This familiar melody, this familiar style, was it because one was influenced by one's company? Eldest Senior Brother's style seemed to have been influenced by someone. A vague thought flashed across Ningxi's mind, but she could not grasp it. Eldest Senior Brother, may I ask, are you proposing to me? Tang Yi, yes. Ning Shi, he then added, I'm replacing Satan. Ning Shi, fuck, she knows everything. Ning Shi took a deep breath and said through gritted teeth, don't tell me that the so-called S-level task you mentioned is to help that guy come here and propose to me? Tang Yi, yes. Ning Shi, damn it, where's my knife? Where's my green dragon crescent moon knife? I'm gonna hack him to death. Tang Yi, your answer? She was almost scared to death. How dare he ask for her answer? Ning Shi cannot take it anymore. Eldest senior brother, are you sure you're proposing to me and not torturing me? Also, who the hell told you that a proposal can be replaced by someone else? Your reply. Tang Yi still replied with the same 4 words, like a robot that completed its mission step by step. I refuse. At the same time, Ning Shi's hands exerted force and finally broke free from the rope. Reason? Tang Yi asked. Ning Shi had been holding back all night, and now she finally exploded. Fuck, you made me wait all night, scare me out of my wits, and you even tied me up to propose? I've never seen such a unique proposal in my life. How dare you ask me for a reason? After saying that, Ning Shi found that Tang Yi was holding a pen in his hand. After she finished speaking, he pressed a certain part of the pen. He even brought a recording pen. The corners of Ning Shi's mouth twitched. She reached out and snatched the recording pen from Tang Yi's hand. She pressed the record button and shouted at the pen, with your EQ, you've basically said goodbye to girls. You could be a single dog for the rest of your life, bastard. After yelling, he finally vented some of his anger. However, just as he finished yelling, he suddenly saw an even more terrifying scene. Tang Yi handed the bouquet and diamond ring in his hands to the 2 underlings. Then he raised his hand and slowly took off the gold-rimmed glasses on his face. This time, Ning Shi was really scared out of her wits. Eldest senior brother, what are you doing? Let's talk this out. Don't take off your glasses just because you have a disagreement. Chapter 611. Everyone who was familiar with Tang Yi knew that once Tang Yi took off his glasses and entered battle mode, it was as if he had become another person, an extremely dangerous existence. It wouldn't be an exaggeration to call him a pervert. What's going on? Are you going to use force when the soft approach doesn't work? Eldest senior brother, listen to my advice. A melon forcibly picked won't be sweet. Ning Shi hurriedly urged. Tang Yi was like a walking, human-shaped weapon. After taking off his glasses, Tang Yi was like a sharp sword that was unsheathed from its scabbard. In an instant, his sharp edge was revealed. His dark eyes were filled with bloodlust and madness. Even the tone of his voice had changed. My dear junior sister, don't be nervous. We haven't seen each other for a year. Let's test your skills. No, I don't want it. Ning Shi flatly refused, shaking her head like a rattle drum. Damn it, before one wave had subsided, another wave had arisen. Why did you want to pick a fight with her out of nowhere? Tang Yi obviously wouldn't allow her to refuse, so he attacked her without hesitation. Fuck me. You're serious. This was Tang Yi, not third sister Feng Xiao. It'd be a miracle if she could last more than 10 moves against him. If she did not train for a year, she would probably only last 4 or 5 moves. Ning Shi anxiously shouted. Eldest senior brother, calm down. Calm down. Holy shit. What's going on? Why do you look like you haven't fought in 8 lifetimes? So thirsty. Did second senior brother not satisfy you? Hearing the words second senior brother, Tang Yi's aura instantly became even more frenzied, and he was like a wild beast that had been restrained for hundreds of years and had just been released from its cage. Ning Shi finally sensed that something was wrong. Eldest senior brother, what's wrong? Damn. Eldest senior brother, stop. I can't take it anymore. He really couldn't take it anymore. I can at most exchange 5 moves with you. As soon as she finished speaking, Tang Yi's hand was already wrapped around her throat. If he exerted more strength, she would lose her life. At this moment, Tang Yi's condition was extremely abnormal. He was on the verge of losing control, and he almost lost control of his strength. However, at this moment, his sharp senses detected something. His gaze sharpened as he looked downstairs. Then, he quickly withdrew his hand and slowly put on his glasses under Ningxi's frightened gaze. Finally safe, Ningxi was so tired that she bent over and gasped for breath. Eldest senior brother, what's going on? Did something happen to second senior brother? He's missing, Tang Yi said. After putting on his glasses, the manic look in his eyes receded, and he became an emotionless poker face again. However, when he said those 3 words, there was a hint of gloominess. What? Gone missing? Ningxi was shocked. Her second senior apprentice brother's talent was extremely high. No matter what he learned, his speed was always very fast. On the other hand, eldest senior brother was the complete opposite. He belonged to the type that could make up for his incompetence with diligence. His training method was terrifyingly intense that ordinary people could not imagine. In the same sect, the only one whose strength was comparable to eldest senior brother was second senior brother. That was why eldest senior brother, who was a fighting maniac, would always look for Tang Yi to train with him. Furthermore, second senior brother, who was obviously talented, was always sloppy and never put in the effort to learn. Even when he didn't put in the effort to learn, he was still able to match the results of Tang Yi's hard work. Every time Tang Yi fought with second senior brother, the world would lose its color, and the sun and moon would lose their luster. If there had to be a definition of their relationship, it would probably be a love-hate relationship. If second senior brother was not here, then the other junior brothers and sisters would be dragged to fight with him. For example, today's situation. Chapter 612. Why would he disappear all of a sudden? Ningxi furrowed her brows. No wonder eldest senior brother was so eager to find her for a fight. Even if she was weak, there was no satisfaction in fighting him. It turned out that he hadn't had an opponent for a long time. But with second senior brother's personality, isn't it normal for him to disappear every few days? It's normal to not see him for half a month, right? Ningxi said after some thought. Back in the days, second senior brother was the closest to her in the organization. He was the one who taught her how to eat, drink, and have fun. It would be strange if he stopped having fun one day. From his point of view, she felt that her master really had great foresight. Back then, when he adopted second senior brother, the name he gave him was In Tang Lang. Half a year, Tang Yi replied. He didn't look too good. What? Disappeared for half a year? That long? She was shocked. I think I've been wandering for too long this time. Is there no news at all? No. Tang Yi originally wanted to ask if she was in contact with Tang Lang, but seeing her reaction, it was obvious that she wasn't. Did something happen? She muttered. She couldn't help but feel worried. After all, Tang Lang was too arrogant and deserved to be punished. His greatest hobby in life was to stir up trouble, and he had enemies all over the world. When he went out to take out the trash, he might run into an enemy. If he were to casually take a stroll and run into a dog, it might have been kicked by him. It's best if he dies out there, Tang Yi said coldly. Ningxi stole a glance at Tang Yi. His words weren't credible at all. The one who can't bear to see second senior brother die is you, eldest senior brother, not long ago, in the black car downstairs. Lu Tingxiao's expression didn't change at all. It was as though all his emotions were frozen in the depths of his icy eyes. Brother, are you okay? Lu Jingli asked uneasily. He seriously thought that his brother should be the one to find a master to read his fortune. Lu Tingxiao's face was shrouded in the white light of the surveillance screen in the car. Jingli, step aside. Why? I don't know, brother. You actually have a little secret with me. Lu Jingli's handsome eyebrows were tightly knitted, and he had an unhappy expression on his face. Lu Tingxiao glanced at his brother. Good boy. Lu Jingli was successfully appeased by his brother's words. He happily got out of the car. However, the moment he got out of the car, a trace of imperceptible worry flashed across his face. He uneasily looked back at his brother in the car. After Lu Jingli left, Lu Tingxiao took out his phone and dialed a number. The phone rang for a long time before it was slowly picked up. Hello, Mashi, Lu Ting Xiao. Do it now. The person on the other end of the phone was silent for a long time. Then, the person on the other end of the phone said in a pained tone, Sir Boss, even according to our original schedule, we're already in a hurry, but now you want to take action immediately? You're making things very difficult for me. Recently, I've been abused by you to the point that my endocrine system is in disorder. Tang Yi isn't here, Lu Tingxiao said. The person on the other end of the phone was stunned again. Then he said with certainty, Tang Yi won't leave. Lu Tingxiao turned on the video call function and pointed the camera at the surveillance screen in the car. On the screen, Tang Yi was holding a large bouquet of roses and kneeling on one knee in front of Ning Shi. You're tuning into the Eternal Immortal Ballad YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.